No, because I had a Google white.
There we go. Now we're on.
Google white.
We had to figure out what white meant. That's good. Hi, everybody! It's launch day! Woo! Launch day! Woo! Yay! Good talk.
my God, the glare off our foreheads is stunning.
Well, that's why we want to use the backlighting.
No, the backlight should be on too.
As well.
Just not
All lights. You can afford 2 lights on at the same
Okay.
time. He grew up kind of impoverished. I have to apologize for our friend there.
Oh my God.
It's like, both lights? Is it Christmas?
Well, because I just look terrible
Look at that
as usual.
sweet ass, though. Woo, that's what I said when I saw it. Look how tight it is.
Thank you guys so much.
So whenever
bounce $1 off of that and get changed.
whenever you send something for top approval and he says no, now you know he's a literal tight ass.
Oh my God.
5 it.
Wait, do we just sexually harass the ANST werewolf?
Yeah.
I feel bad about that.
It's only harassment if he's not okay with it.
Stop objectifying me!
He's kidding, folks. I don't know if anybody's even watching. I have no way of seeing
He is
how many
kidding. He
viewers
does
there
not
are.
want us to stop objectifying him.
Ooh, see, now we look a little bit more.
Oh, snap. We have, like, features.
Yes.
You're welcome. There you
Some
go.
of us have extra feature.
Is that like a brown joke?
No, I was
You
saying.
can't say that in this
No, what are
America
you
anymore.
talking about? I'm saying because I've got extra like chins and whatnot.
I thought that was some sort of defensive sack you inflated to ward off predators.
So we're all a little punchy here on
You look
Wednesday.
like you look like that whatever it is from Star Wars, the one that Jar Jar Binks kept getting into trouble with.
I think this is just being recorded and that no one is actually here yet.
No, it says 5 people are here.
They lose nothing.
Yeah. What's up, EP?
Hang on, I'm hearing something in my ear.
You can keep it turned up until 11. After 11, you need to keep it down to 7 hours.
Thanks, EP.
Not even my real mom.
Why isn't Austin here? I need a sexy intern.
This is the first week in a while we haven't had a sexy intern.
Yeah.
That's true.
We miss you, DJ. Wherever you are. I like how I make it sound like he's in heaven.
He's keeping things woke in Malaysia.
But he's actually...
He's fighting the good fight.
All right, so on target.
What? Oh.
Today we're going to talk about making a character in the new world, maybe a little rap stuff about the old one,
Yeah.
take questions, and basically just live the dream. So, shall we get started? Let's talk about the settings docs.
Oh, great. Full disclosure, I haven't read shit. I've had a rough week. So I'm going to be surprised and impressed along with all of you, I'm assuming. I was just trying to keep down the gorge.
Yeah, well, you have a job that actually is dramatic. And, like, can be really...
That's a lie. We don't exist other than when we're right in front of you. I want them not to have object permanence. I think it'll give me an advantage. Can you unteach that?
I think that ship has sailed. For most people.
No, if you're watching, please comment, because I'm beginning to suspect Bucky is right, and I don't like it when he's right. It irks me.
I've got that, dude.
What?
Write a lot about even subjective things. Like, what's your favorite song?
Well, that's not your
That's
favorite
right.
song.
All right, so, yeah, we can... Hang on a second. Just checking something.
I could be eating tacos right now.
Oh, they're here.
Nope, no one here. All right.
Okay, they're here.
Thanks, guys.
No one here? Who wrote that? No, just tell me who wrote it.
And then he covered it.
Who?
D something.
I just want to know who it is so I can have a...
You guys are so on you guys are
crush.
on Fleck today. Just
On, on what?
on Fleck.
It's Fleek.
On Fleck. You're totally on Fleck.
I know it's Fleek because Frederick Douglass told me that that's how you say that.
You're welcome.
Oh.
You're welcome. Are we all here? Are we all good?
Yeah, sure.
Let's begin.
Okay, so.
Okay.
When you see me scribbling, it's because I'm learning.
Well, Geru see themselves as defenders of Gaia and the last bastion of resistance to the worm's corruptions. Worm bad. For thousands of years, they have lived, fought, won, and lost against the rising tide of the great corruptor. But these long centuries of delay and half victories have finally come to an end. The age of the apocalypse has come. With the clock running out, the Geru have been forced to make new alliances. See what I did there? And take on new allies, while at the same time the nation is splintered almost to the breaking point.
Oh, because it's a clock. I got it.
It's good, right? The Sanctum of Gaia and Concordant of Stars vehemently disagree about what is to be done about the spreading collapse of the world. Given Geru tempers and stubbornness, the possibility of a disastrous civil war cannot be disregarded. But for now, cooler heads and wiser hearts have prevailed, and the debate remains political in nature.
Housewife heart.
In this guide, we'll expand upon the material presented in the book to fill in some details. Remember, right now we're currently not allowing player characters to take leadership positions in the nation above local level. In these documents, you'll be introduced to the various leaders of the internal factions within the tribes. With a new world and new setting, modeling these camps and console positions with NPCs is a necessity for now. So that's the basic boilerplate intro. Anything jumping out at you there?
I think, have we mentioned our philosophical stance on NPCs?
Please.
Don't lump me in with you people. It sickens me.
So sorry. And on that note, I give the floor to Iggy. What is your philosophical view on NPCs?
I hate them.
Oh, but
Well, good.
You are the worst.
I've claimed that ground. So now if you say you hate NPCs, you've moved to my camp. Checkmate.
Point of information, we too hate NPC leadership. We hate NPC leadership.
Fucking worst.
Not necessarily hate all NPCs. NPCs are important. You don't have
You know what's even
much
better?
of a game without them.
You know what's better than NPCs? Is watching two NPC leaders argue with each other.
Oh,
That is the best.
Oh, that is the best. I love that.
I think we actually spent a fair bit of one episode shitting on NPC theater.
Yeah.
Like,
But the basic idea is we do hate.
It's never too late to shit on it again. Don't do NPC theater.
The point is that we do need this right now to model the new world, even though we don't
Fine.
love it.
Whatever. They're trying to.
Here's the thing.
To quote Rage Against the Machine.
Well, please, the poet Zach Galifianakis.
Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. They're there to give us. I'm guessing that the NPCs are going to be there to give us the new flavor, to instruct us on the many paths, and show us what the new setting's supposed to be like. I plan on upsetting the apple cart as soon as you let me. Oh my god. In every possible sense.
I think on that note, there's multiple ways of doing NPC leadership, even if the goal state is to have players in all of these positions, right? Which I think is the ideal that I think everybody wants. I mean, there are certain positions, even locally, that where NPCs are fine, and they don't have to have everything. But it is better, especially considering policy is going to come from this. And when Garo policy changes because the players change it, that's awesome.
Like the Fair is the best example of that. Relationship with the Fair as that develops.
Right. And as that changes and evolves, having STs tell people what the new and just departing from the book and being like, well, we think it'll be cooler if we do this. All the NPCs in the room, we all agree. Man, that's some good role playing. Like, I'm glad that happened in a natural and organic way.
No RP without representation.
Right.
I'm against it.
So
Resist.
Right. So I'm looking forward to, even though it starts local, people immediately sort of clawing their way up and getting to those positions.
And people starting in those positions wouldn't really be right. It's better that it's
Not
more
nationally.
game. Yeah.
Because there's no way to do that without picking favorites.
How do you install people afterwards without picking favorites? I mean, to a certain degree, there'll be 2 or 3 candidates, and then you have to pick.
Well, thank God there's a challenge mouse. Like,
We don't have to pick squad. I mean, obviously, there's responsibilities that come with taking a position at the national level. If players do get to that point down the road, they have to agree that they have to act in the best interest of the game. They can't be total dicks out of character.
Since you're going to be staffing, and you're always quasi-staffing. I don't know if either of you can
I don't know
be.
if people even know what I do.
Nobody
I'm
knows.
just there.
Nobody knows what you. No one's going to try.
Brian said it best.
I'm
I'm
not.
the BASF of this game.
I'm not going to try to put you in a box. But since I have no formal role, I can say my opinion on that is: if you agree to have a leadership position, and I hear you whining about the 24-hour game, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to remind you volunteered for it. Like. If there's a lot of stuff on the local level where you can be like, I don't believe in the 24-hour game. And you can be like, I keep office hours. You can bother me on a Saturday. But if you volunteer for a national position,
if you end up on the tribal council, you're gonna have a full inbox. That is just
well, that's a strong argument about not having PCs in those positions if you're trying to work against the 24-hour game.
Yeah, I'm.
You don't have to read those.
I want a spirit. I want a spirit of volunteerism. If you in out of character spirit of volunteerism, if you are putting yourself in a position where other people's fun depends on you, and I'm not saying that you have to give them what they want. I'm saying their fun depends on interacting with you. When you choose not to interact with them, tell them you're choosing not to interact with them, and let them bounce stuff off that. If you want to step yourself into the limelight, if you want to be a star, then you have to take the spotlight.
Let's take a point on that actually. Suppose you're a seasoned player like we are. And you're starting off in basically a new world like this one.
Yep.
What's the best way of helping new players work on their backgrounds and getting themselves integrated into the world without you running all over them? How do you think the best way to help people get started is?
Well, you ask them questions. What do they want? You're at this point. You're just a giant mirror. It's like, hey, how can I help? How do you think you can help? Just like you bounce everything off, and then you ask them how they can. And then if you have plot cookies, then you dole them out. I mean, like this is like RP LARPing 101. Is you know what people who are newer underneath you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff. They want to do stuff, and you can't, especially with downtime actions. Thank you so much, devs. You're my heroes. I don't know why I'm looking up.
Yeah,
they're not actually they're not actually beautified. All right,
I hope you're all okay.
Yeah.
And still corporeal.
But
and hopefully
with the limit of downtime actions, that would be actually that's something that's amazing. That's a great thought. If you're tribe lead, that's a position that should take downtime actions. Like you literally can't do shit now. It's like you have one for your rank, you have a couple for your rank probably, one for your position locally, and then your tribal lead. Like you have no downtime actions. You have to farm out shit. That's how that should go.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are forced.
Desperately delegating, which also keeps plot from clumping.
It also makes it so that you can't be a dick, because if you're a dick to your entire tribe because you are the tribe lead and you are the tribe head and you can afford to be, no one's going to do anything for you, and since you can't do it yourself, nothing will get done, and then you'll find yourself in short order.
Right. Well put. Let's talk about the Bonars. This will be really quick.
Who would play a Bonar?
Okay, so the settings document has been released
one
for
like 3.5
I think
years.
everybody
That's
at
why I
this
said
point.
Yeah, they're all done.
They're all done.
21
So
of them
everybody
done.
gets at least a thematic blurb, some NPCs, some camps, some notes.
And really, some tribes have more than others. The Bonars, even though they're alphabetically first. Oh yes, the STs are Girl Scouts. They want to sell you plot cookies. That's absolutely right. Thanks, Dan.
I've been trying to avoid those things.
The Bonars, there's some basic stuff here that's going to help you when you're designing a Bonar PC. But unlike some of the other tribes, there's not a whole lot of changes here. We do point out that Bonars are the Omegas of the nation, and that you are going to get shit on if you play a Bonar in character. That's just going to happen. I think Bonar players have to be ready for that and expect that. Especially because of the stare-down damage, the difficulty you're going to have in stare-downs and things like that now.
Yes, being little more than dogmen who live in the gutters of the city and etc.
Mm-hmm. But we have some cool stuff about their NPCs. You'll leave those. And all these NPCs you can get connections to using your VIP points.
And what side of the Bonars?
The Bonars are on the side.
For some reason on the Concordat of Stars.
They're on the Concordat of Stars side.
So both the Bonars and the Glasswalkers are concordant.
Yes.
Huh.
That's not going to go well.
Oh no.
So that's the Bonars. I love the Bonars, but there's very little to add about them. Let's talk about the cogs. What do we got in that? Again, a lot of these are bare bones. These documents will get filled in.
You should probably put that over here.
Sure.
I have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
These documents will fill out as the game progresses and give you story notes for them. So it's good to check in every month or so and see if anything's been updated and anything like that. So the cogs. Let's see. We added some stuff about how COG leadership is organized.
How is it organized?
Buck, you can fill that. I'm gonna grab a drink.
Every child of Gaia have
Beer me as
typo
long as
one.
it's not a Guinness.
Should I fix this as we go?
If you see an obvious typo.
Okay.
Beer me as long as it's not a Guinness, bro.
Remember when I said I was an editor? Every child of Gaia has a voice, and granted to them by Gaia. So all may use their voice for the leadership of the tribe. The voice, arm, and
No, I'm good. Forget it.
I'll take tea.
I'll take water. Tastes better than Guinness.
And an Oxford comma, and heart of the goddess are not bound by breed, gender, rank, or auspice. They simply choose who they feel is best to hold the position. The voice chooses which ideals shall be acted on, the arm chooses how those ideas shall be implemented, and the heart mediates disputes and acts as a spiritual guide for the tribe. So they have their own 3-position leadership system where
The triumvirate?
you get it by consensus. Yeah, it's just democratically elected. I want to be the heart. And they're like, you seem real hearty. And then they do that.
Well, without them, you can't form Captain Planet.
So true.
Come on, it's the Cox.
It's
That's
true.
really on.
Which is another point to keep note about the cogs, is this little chronicle note we have here, is that you may get shit on if you play a cog, because cogs are a little more loose with the litany than some of the other tribes are.
Yeah, and they have been perennially so.
Mhm.
Also, they still have the same old weakness,
Mhm.
so they're a constant threat to the Veil, which I don't think there's a gift that actually gets them around that in the current universe. In Revised, there was.
Being careful is important.
If anybody out there knows that maybe we missed a right or a gift that makes sure that they don't.
Well, being invisible always helps.
Right, well, I mean, it's mostly a Metis problem, but yeah, running around causing delirium is generally, or rather not causing delirium, is an issue because people are like, yep, that's a werewolf. Mm.
Now, glasswalkers have quite a bit here. We added a lot of detail about their houses, which are mentioned in the book.
Wait, last one for houses?
They have houses, they're mentioned in the book. So we expanded them a little bit. They only have 3.
He pared it down. There's no more, what were they, urban savages and whatnot?
Those are camps. They have the corporate wolves, the cyber dogs, and the random interrupts.
Okay.
Those are the camps they have now. And we gave those guys NPCs and stuff like that. Again, there's some good stuff here. But the big stuff in building your background is, if you're joining a Glasswalker house, there's no merit requirement for it unless you want to be directly related to the leader of those houses, because they're not as central as the Solar Fang houses. But they are there if you want to get on board with that. We brought Roger Daly is back from the dead. Hello, Roger Daly.
Hey.
Hey. And there's a bunch of other NPCs.
Well, bunch of them.
When you're building a Glasswalker, what are some important things to keep in mind?
What, just as that particular tribe?
Yeah, like if you're building a Glasswalker, what are some questions you want to be asking? Like, how teched out are you going to be?
When am I getting trick shot? How do I get trick shot?
Can I start with trick shot?
Having had trick shot, is there a way to get a second trick shot? Like,
yeah, should there, is it worth getting a paper butterfly
yeah,
to use while I'm using trick shot? No, I mean, I would say that when you asked earlier of Iggy, my question generally to incoming new people is, what do you think is cool and or enjoyable to play, and then trying to winnow down what the sort of best suited options for that might be. Now, the thing about Glasswalkers is they're relatively combat capable, just like, but since pretty much every tribe's gifts are almost all combat based, they're not that unique in that sense. So I'd say they're probably going to be on par with a bunch of other tribes, falling slightly behind Stargazer and Child of Gaia, which, but...
What do you think about the conflict between the Glasswalkers and the Shadow Lords? How do you think that's going to play out?
Well,
honestly, I think the Glasswalkers are going to win. I don't know what's going to happen between the start. I don't know how it's going to start, but I'm betting the Rat King has something to do with it. I know
that is uneasy bedfellows, isn't it?
That is going to start. the announcer going to pay the Ratkin to do something to the Glasswalkers and make it look like the Shadow Lords. I'm calling that. And if that wasn't going to happen, it might now.
Right. Conspiracies everywhere. People
layers,
layers.
layers. So, but I see the Glasswalkers winning. I really do.
Well, they're the new nobility. I'm glad that the book recognizes that. We mentioned that when we were going over the tribes. I think the biggest question for them is because their tribe aims them towards background characters, being sure that you don't end up buying those merits just because they're glasswalkery, because that is an entire direction for a character.
Yeah.
That does take some investment and a lot of writing reports and a lot of other things. So
It's more an investment of time.
yeah, you might ironically not actually want every glasswalker merit to be the best glasswalker. You might just want some general merits to just be a good werewolf.
It's a theory.
What's your theory?
This is gonna get down to the nitty gritty of who has the best toys. And I'll tell you why I think it's gonna get down to the nitty gritty of who has the best toys. Okay, Brian's over there and he's a Shadow Lord because of course he is. So Brian's over there and he's a Shadow Lord, and I for some reason after some serious head trauma decided to play Glasswalker, and I have favorites.
It's really more you have prejudices.
Prejudices are unfounded. I have favorites. They're reasons. And we're both about to enter into a proxy war that's going to turn into an actual war. And you're an unaligned Uktena. Who can pay you in the most stuff? I can give you all the stuff.
I'll tell you this.
The Bonars are going to go for it.
The idea that the Shadow Lords and the Silver Fangs are immediately just going to run up and bro hug this out sort of assumes that people are going to let the Shadow Lords be the one to bro hug it out. Because being in charge of the Concordat, I think, is something that's going to have its own power struggle. And I think that's one of the biggest questions is, will the Shadow Lords share power with anyone, let alone with Glasswalkers?
Oh, I think you're looking at it the wrong. I think you're looking at it from that perspective, the outside perspective, because the Glasswalkers are going to be looking at it like this whole part of this is about realizing the power of the Weaver. It's not about the Shadow Lords sharing power with us. It's about what power we let the Shadow Lords have.
Okay, fine. Well,
This is the thing the Concordat has that the Sanctum really doesn't. The Sanctum is pretty firm. Despite the fact that it's a very small tent, is very firm and focused.
I would rather that.
Whereas the Concordat is a big tent that is, I think, going to tear itself apart.
Oh, I think we use the analogy that there's a flaming bus of, like, just chaos being driven off a cliff by a Shadow Lord. Just teeming with cyber ninjas and various other shifters.
And half the Farah don't want this to work.
Right, and no particular direction to speak of. Oh, that's one thing I want to talk about in forming character later about the Farah. But yeah, I think the Concordat's biggest enemy is probably going to be the rest of the Concordat for a while. Until things stabilize.
I think in the early game, the Sanctum really just needs to endure. No?
Always on the offense.
Well, and that's fine. I just don't think there's anybody else who's...
Do you know where the offense is going to be aimed at? According to Farah. Because we're the nice guys. We don't want you in our nation.
I will say that...
But we're not dicks.
I will say, yeah, all of the Farah going to the Concordat and none going to the Sanctum is a little bit like... I mean, because even in...
First off, the Ratkin should have gone to the Sanctum. I'm glad they're not there.
At least not being insanely anti-Weaver, psychotically so.
But I'm glad they're not there to start because I think they're going to wreck house inside of the Concordat, and that's going to be hilarious.
Well,
that's dramatic tension built right in there.
Well, that's the big thing we mentioned is that the Shadow Lords, in a lot of ways, seem to have started this alliance primarily to upset the Silver Fangs as the leaders of the nation.
Well, if you can't be leaders of the nation, you make your own nation. You'll have hookers and blackjack. We'll have our own groups. We'll let the Farah in. Then we'll have more votes.
Right. And we added some stuff for them under the Margrave. We added a few positions. The Exarch, the Vestas, and the Elector.
Exarch. It's a Warhammer thing.
Okay.
Just keep going.
It's okay. I probably was intentionally so. But yeah, these are all positions that are new, and then we have a bunch of other stuff. this is another tribe we didn't change much. We just pointed out the fact that, yeah.
I do love how delightfully Russian most of their naming conventions
But the
remain.
Silverfangs
And the Silverfangs, who
are like
are Russian,
French-British.
yeah, and
That's such
all
bullshit.
their colors are blue. It's all like Brito. It was all written by Brito
There was a vote.
Francophiles.
There was
There
a
was a
vote.
vote, and there was one house, Blood Red Crest, I think that lobbied very hard for yellow and a shade of red.
Good for them.
Didn't win. No
What's
yellow.
No, they did.
Did they?
Yeah, they got yellow.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It would be nice for somebody to like actually Google Russia. Maybe include the word
love this in player
oblast
hands.
into
Give
the
what they wanted.
Silverfang book.
Actually, there was a huge argument over what color it was. It was hilarious to see when the stakes could not have been more meaningless. How incredibly vicious. it
Oh
got.
yeah, of course. The lower the stakes.
Yeah, it's like economics. And Blood Red Crest went right for yellow, and I know that because
Oh, did you suggest that?
that's why
Proper thing.
it was all a distraction. The whole purple thing was just because I really wanted yellow.
And the reveal, the mask
Glares.
falls off. He was a heel
So
the
one of the
whole
big mysteries in BNS is written is why did the Octana break with their Wendigo brothers?
You just have to keep an eye on what the fuck that the Glasswalkers are doing. Everybody who paid attention saw that a mile away. Oh, look, secrets over here. The most secretive tribe, the Shadow Lords, the person with all the hands on the new tech, the Glasswalkers. Yeah, no, we're going to go over there.
Also, all the Pharaoh.
And the Octana
All
boys and
the
friends of the Pharaoh.
And,
Yeah.
Yes.
well, friends
General
is a
word.
strong word. Willing to spy on and desperate to steal from.
Yeah, I would say that's more the relationship of like, hey, you don't happen to have any like specific rights you want to teach me? And by teach me, I mean I can find rummaging through your shorts.
There's no secrets on the Sanctum side that compare to the interest of the secrets on the Sanctum side. It would be shocking to me if the Utena had stayed.
I will say, the Octana and the Wendigo are two really interesting tribes that do not see enough play. If you were on the fence on what tribe to take up, I would suggest the Octana and Wendigo have a lot going on. The Octana have a lot of political stuff, and their drive to discover secrets is always amazing.
They're gonna Utena's gonna see play. It's Wendigo that's never gonna see play.
I feel like the biggest they've broadened it out. So
the red face thing.
They've broadened that part out. But the biggest concern, or one of the biggest problems in Revised was their powers didn't work in 3/4 of the country. But that's no longer true. Their gifts are now just all the time great, and they're supernatural. So the stuff you make out of ice.
Wait, is their totem spirit still one of cannibalism?
Yes.
Yeah, why would you?
That's all terrible. I don't know, pale-faced lies. Their tribe book was really. It was written by somebody who clearly was mad at somebody who wrote something else. I don't.
Somebody who's mad at somebody else.
Well, because they're like, it's not actually about cannibalism because there's only one Wendigo, and then they're like, we don't have a cannibalism problem. That's just a spurious lie. So, what unique rights do you have? Punishing people for committing cannibalism, and that's like their biggest punishment.
It's not unique too because the Bone
the Bone Lords have one too,
yeah.
but the Wendigo one is basically like we're gonna hard reset your character and take away all your XP. So it's literally worse than death as far as most players are concerned, because you don't actually get a new sheet; you just get all your powers removed from your old one.
No, and you get to keep all your old enemies.
Right. Well, no, you're supposed to be. You get a new name and all that. But yeah, everybody will hate you forever.
Yeah, no one will forgive you for the things you've done in your different names.
But yeah, their powers all broke the litany. Like, specifically went out of their way to be like, this violates or can violate the litany. So just be aware. So running around violating the litany all the time with all these powers, especially now where eating other shapeshifters violates the litany. It's untenable.
We haven't gotten
It's just
to Stargazer
crazy.
yet.
So they have a lot of problems. They have less problems, but they still have a lot of problems.
So Stargazers.
Did we miss the Stargazer?
We didn't. They're asking if we skipped them intentionally.
Oh, no, not at all. Good call, guys. So the Stargazers. There's a lot going on here, and more about this tribe. There's some good stuff here. A lot more is going to come once the Beast Court document is released, which should be in the next couple days. Just a breakdown of what's really going on in the Beast Courts, as opposed and what the outsiders know about
Since
it.
the word Beast Courts come up, can I just like let vent a little bit
If you will.
about something that keep happening? So, I mean, I don't have to.
No,
Don't
please.
worry.
Please.
So Stargazers in generally, some of the Pharaoh, or the Kitsune, not to constantly pick on the Kitsune, for the Kitsune and the Stargazers, people who want ties to the Beast Courts. You see people, well, I want background ties with these people. And I think that there's a perfectly good way to have those connections. And you just need to look under the flaws and take, like, enemy. Or like
I can't imagine that ST would deny you having a negative connection.
Because that would be great. Because when you think about it, you're the people who walked up to them and said,
I got a Stargazer idea, and I'm ashamed of myself.
Well,
and they're a good
and any current connections to the Beast Courts would be handled through for our MAS players in the room. This would be handled through the dark part of the map form. This should be out shortly. It's being finalized tonight.
You're a Stargazer. You were part of the Beast Courts, and you were taught a martial art, and then you left the Beast Courts, and now you're that guy that left the school with the secret technique.
Oh, you're with the fifth deadly venom?
Yeah, then and you need to be dealt with.
Which one is secretly Toad? No.
Everybody knew Toad was. The dude was blade-proof. It's kind of obvious. He walked around and stabbed me.
Millipede was the dude working for Snake?
If you guys aren't up on the 5 deadly venoms, you're wrong.
It's a really good movie.
Watch it.
But no, okay. So Stargazers and Kitsune, you're like, I want ties to the Beast Courts. Just remember, the last thing you said to the Beast Courts probably included
go fuck yourself.
One of 3 different things. 1, fuck your litany. Like, seriously, fuck your litany and fuck your worldview. You're all wrong. 2, your Bible is lies, and your religion is bullshit. Your cyclical garbage is all going to get us killed, and also, fuck you, I'm out. That's what you did. You didn't say,
you
like...
soft pedal it. You could be like, you could whisper.
You're like, your litany is for garbage people. Garbage people like you. I would rather move to the other side of the planet than deal with this heresy of a cyclical world.
We've been friends for 20 years. I lied the whole time.
20 years.
The whole
you
time
made Kitsune was 1,000 years old and be like, I just realized, fuck you, I don't like any of you.
At least for the Kitsune, their literal god came down and said, yeah, your whole religion, your whole
Bible is lies. And that's fine.
But think about it. Imagine you were a friend of the Kitsune. You've been friends for... That Kitsune was your great-grandfather's friend, and
you were roommates in college in 1080.
Yeah, and he's been a family friend for generations. He's been at births, funerals, weddings. He may have married into the family at one point, and then he just said, "Fuck your entire society." No, he has to die.
I do think antagonistic ties are something people have not been exploring, and I think that's very.
I think they've been ducking them.
Well, because not only did
they say purposefully ducking.
Not only did they say fuck their litany and all that other stuff, but realistically speaking, if you're playing people who left the Beast Courts to play with the Western Concordia, you know you're violating that original litany constantly. Like, none of you are actually checking your notes with the old litany, and you're like, maybe I can balance these scales. You're like, nope, time to poop all over this and constantly offend what I held sacred for centuries.
Okay. Also, there's the other thing I want to say. How did Benedict Arnold end his life?
Didn't he end up in Britain? Nobody really liked him.
In Penury, because that's how people feel about traitors.
I will say, the book does give the Stargazers some wiggle room here. The Stargazers didn't...
The Gazers, yes.
Yes, because the Gazers came home and were essentially guests as they attempted to take back their homeland. And then afterwards, they left again.
I mean, this would be true of somebody who wanted to make a Beast Court-tied Shadow Lord, which used to also be a thing. Because
Hakan are not sanctioned. So
no, I know. Well, you think no one's going to ask for it, even though it's not sanctioned? I'm just saying.
Somebody's going to watch 13 Assassins and want to be that
right.
guy.
If you want connections to the Beast Courts, go in the more realistic direction and make them antagonistic, because you're not following them.
Did you not watch Daredevil? You're getting attacked by ninjas. That shit's amazing.
There are holes in the ground. Nobody knows why.
Black Sky.
Could you imagine just hanging out?
I'd say that's a spoiler, but you can just keep saying it over and over again, which is all the show does, and it explains nothing. Black Sky.
So we're sitting here talking, and I'm a Kitsune, and then you're like, "Why are there ninjas behind you?" As long as you pretend not to see them, they won't attack.
Their vision is based on motion.
I thought there was a T-Rex.
No. As long as you pretend you don't see them,
See what?
Exactly. So no, but that's amazing. You're sitting there, and now people are getting pulled into your psycho fuck kung fu drama. That's amazing. If you want a tie, there's no better tie than if you come with me, we get to fight ninjas.
Okay, all right. I mean,
Get your shit.
that's pretty
There's a
great.
lot more we can say about
Together.
gazers, but I can't top that, so we're gonna wrap that one up.
No, I mean, gazers have been like, hey, can we just chill out here and be the voice of reason? And for a while, people were like, no. But now they're like, all right.
All right, now that we've
I
officially
guess.
tried everything else,
Fine. We'll let you in.
We've tried everything but you, and we're still not sure.
I mean, let's just listen to the gazers has never happened.
this is new ground.
Right. They get a vote? It's crazy.
So Black Furies.
No.
What do you
Well, I
think?
like how you two immediately look at me.
It's your
with
second
Black
favorite
Fury.
tribe.
Led by Rabbi
No,
Jim.
it's my favorite tribe. It's just not the one I've played because I wanted to play one and I got told no.
Well, now you can.
Wait,
They play them like
when?
crazy. What?
You told me no.
What do you mean?
When?
You encouraged me in the other direction
For
Yes.
this game?
for the last.
Last game.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Why
the
am I
last
bring- why
game
am
you
I
were
bringing up old shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
so
Let it go.
Furies, tell me about it.
All right. Setting aside that, let's see.
Can't they have a rabbi in charge
Yeah.
of one of their camps?
Good.
That's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. One of my
What's wrong with that?
good friends.
So the
his
tribe-
sister's a rabbi. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think
The tribe is generally a meritocracy
I'll let
among
you
all
finish
those
it.
who identify as women, male Black Fury metis, and male cubs born to the tribe. However, true leadership within the tribe is divided into the two calyxes. The outer calyx is composed of 13 leaders of the tribe from around the world, chosen by lottery, who dictate the tribe's customs and orthodoxy. The speaker for the outer calyx is the tribal counselor, Alika Kalonimos.
Kalonimos.
Thank
Just pronounce every syllable.
It's
like
Greek,
Montauk
yeah.
Kalonimos.
The inner calyx, rumored to be chosen by Luna herself, consists of 5 members of the tribe that dictate the workings.
And they're none of your business. who
And they are Nunya.
Nunya.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, if you are a male Black Fury,
That's never going to be you.
Yep.
And
Well, yeah.
internalize that. Wait, is that my Pokewatch?
no, it was
No,
I got a notification.
that's his phone.
Yeah. So this is a tribal downside. So this isn't something that can be overcome in game. People identifying as male.
Wait.
Black,
So you, no matter what you do in the sandbox of the game, you can never change them.
from where I'm sitting right now, this is a tribal flaw that is part of who they are.
Oh, the rank limit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought. Well, because what's the Fury's general sort of weakness?
That is it. They don't have any other.
Oh.
And you know what? I want to fight that. Because it gives me an impossible mountain to struggle against if I ever play.
Everybody needs impossible, and this is the thing. A lot of
Fighting the
players,
impossible is the sport of legends.
a lot of players will get when you tell them that's not something we're probably ever going to allow. A lot of players will say, "Well, I'm not doing that." Players like Iggy will be like, "Well, now I have a story because I'm going to keep trying to do this impossible thing."
Sisyphean.
Attempting the impossible is the sport of legends. And isn't that the rank you want to be?
Do you remember any Greek legends about dudes who pushed up a rock and
That was
stopped
moderate
doing it?
size. It was a moderate size.
And then
rock.
they were done doing that? No. But you've heard of Sisyphus. His life sucked.
It's like he diverted a river. He didn't just like.
Well, here's your rabbi if you want to read about her.
Essia Rodriguez, I am pleased.
Quiet, temperate, and peaceful old soul. That is definitely playing against stereotypes.
Wow.
I'm telling your mother.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm never going to hear the end of it.
She's an angel. You shut up.
Your mother's a saint.
And the
Your mother
Sisterhood
is
of Fortune
insane.
supports the
She's
Weaver. They're not
quiet.
very popular right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're good.
The Furies are a rich
everything about
tribe
the
with a lot
Furies.
going on. Yeah, they're a great tribe. I love the Furies.
Am I gonna have to ditch the Java and play? I can't. I've already made promises.
Yeah, you have. To me, who's making your sidekick?
No one. I'm your sidekick. I laugh at your jokes. That's my function.
All right, now the best tribe,
We're
the Fianna.
co-sidekicks.
The best tribe at what?
At
what?
at losing, mostly.
At not retaking ire. Because
Our sons will leave in chains, but they won't come back. That was a lie. They'll never come back.
they will help build up the economy and stability of other countries. I'm so sorry, Brian. It is. I blame White Wolf. because everything green is basically magical and Irish, and yet, despite an army of supernatural elves, like slew a
Thanks to White Wolf for like the first 2 years I knew him. I actually thought Brian
hang
was
on,
a
hang
fairy.
on. Let me just make a point of something here.
Right.
There we go.
Interactions with the Fae.
No PCs may be involved in or have history with the Irish Troubles. I did not notice that. Wow, this is an interesting bar to entry. So, you know what would have been more efficient? Well, no, I guess just banning long-lived isn't good enough.
Just be an Ulsterman, you're fine.
Can you still listen to the Cranberries? Or, like, is that no longer allowed?
Jesus, guys.
You know, I don't.
You too? There's whole bands.
I was gonna play a Fiona and write a whole background, but now I'm just gonna have to let that thought linger.
I'm tweeting at Bono later tonight that there's something else he needs.
What the fuck, guys?
We're fighting for you.
The big stuff to point out here is that the tribe had its ass whooped trying to hold Silverterra, so that sucks. There's not as many of them. Plus, their Fey allies have bailed on them. Plus, they're under
going back to Tralalaladi Day. Whatever it's.
I gotta say.
Is the Easter Rebellion okay? Is the first question.
Okay,
so get a Fenris.
No, that's a valid question. Is the Easter Rebellion still okay?
That's an actual question.
It's right there.
You just thought he was being cheeky.
Yeah,
but he wasn't.
No,
I'm also weak.
The Easter Rising is for our purposes considered part of the Troubles. We just don't want to get involved in that as an org.
Yeah, or the.
But I could be long lived and have been a slave owner though.
What are the?
No.
What?
I could have been long lived and a slave owner though. Troubles more troublesome than slavery.
Well, one is
I got it.
The troubles are still going on. There are people living and dying by it right now. We just don't want to get involved in current political stuff like that. But involved in people literally dying.
I'm gonna go home and watch Django again.
Sort of like with the Silent Striders, they were very cagey about making sure that they were from Egypt, a country that's only known for piles of rocks and Egyptologists. And you should probably stay away from the political stuff that's going on, say, to the east.
No, somebody wants more on the Fianna. So what else do we have on the Fianna?
Well, I like the Fianna.
Let's talk. Can we set the bullshit aside and talk about how great the Fianna are?
The Fianna are great. The Fianna are probably the only tribe other than the Silverfangs who could legitimately just be in charge of the Sanctum of Gaia. Because the Silverfangs are, let's be real for a moment, really inbred.
And insane.
The full stop. I mean, I will take whatever flaws the Fianna have over the having to take either they still have to take a derangement or a no.
You can just pick any random set of flaws or phobias or mental or physical. It's fine.
I just wonder how a tribe that prides itself on it. We're number one and we're the best leader. We are all universally flawed though. Like we are objectively worse out of the box than anyone else. Even if we took no merits and no flaws, we would still have flaws. Go us.
I mean, it's offset by living 300 years, but whatever.
I mean, that's...
You have
come on.
They handicapped the best horse in the race for a reason, bro, to make it sort of fair.
But there's a really interesting tribal dynamic politically in the tribe right now.
There is, but I want to get back to their interactions with the other tribes for a second.
Sure.
They didn't mention it in this edition, but they mentioned in the other edition. A lot of our words for everything Garu, they are the cultural touchstone for a lot of us. So they're like American Hollywood. You may not like what they're putting out if you live in another country, but you've watched Tombstone, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like the zeitgeist has touched you, and there's no two ways about it.
Right.
So they get to set the tone for a lot. I don't know if you guys play. For those who play Legend of the Five Rings, the Fianna are the Crane. They set the culture, they set the tone. What's cool with if the Fianna are played right, I honestly believe that what's cool with the Fianna will be cool with the other tribes in a year when they catch up. Like you guys can be the style makers, and that kind of soft power, you add it to like when everybody thinks of like the Galliards, at least from the old edition. When you think of the Galliards, you think of Fiona style.
Fiona Boggs, yeah.
Yeah, so you think of that. When you think of fetishes, touchstones from the past, when you want fetishes made, who do you go to? Again, the Fiona. When you want a story remembered and told to you, or story that you, or something you've done turned into a story and retold, who are you going to?
Yeah.
So they're political officers in a way. Like they push out the narrative you want, like as a tribe.
Mhm.
So there's a lot there for everybody. You say that like the Fianna could be in charge. I think everybody in this active guy has leadership ability. Like they could pick up and lead. Where
I think that your mileage is going to
maybe
I don't
not the
think
Wendigo, just from sheer lack of numbers.
I don't think the Red Talons are going to end up in charge. I don't think that people
I don't
follow
think
the
the Red
Get
Talon-
because every Get it just there's something that's just they've got a wild hair up their butt about
That's
something.
not a thing so much anymore.
No, you still have to take intolerance.
Yeah,
Just made a Get.
yeah, you can make intolerance for something that's
No, it doesn't have to be racist. I'm just saying that you have a distracted leadership. Be like bees. You mentioned bees. I hate apiaries. Like that's. And plus, they're people pretending to be Vikings, or people pretending to be werewolves, who are pretending to be
they
Vikings.
don't have to
As
be
much
anymore.
grief as they get, if another tribe was ever going to have a High King, I really do think it would end up being the Fiona if the Silverfangs all died tomorrow.
They don't even have to die tomorrow. I could see Silverfangs going to a really organized Fianna tribe with a artery and going, "Fuck it, you're our best bet. You keep the lore. You are traditionalist enough. You'll do for now."
Traditionalist, and I think they're extreme. Like that's one of their things. Is at least half of the tribe is very traditionalist.
Yes,
and keeps the old ways.
See, that's all the Silverfangs have to take. It's too much to do with the laws.
No, and that's fine. It's not. It's just there are flawed people.
Everyone's flawed though.
Some people get away with it by just not having like a background. They don't actually have to be like a worse werewolf.
Right. But yeah, the Fianna have a lot of depth. They have a lot of interaction. The big thing is a lot of people are going to want to come in with Fae buddies, or you have the one Fae friend who's still sticking by you despite everything's going wrong. We've seen this a lot already. Try to stick by the book. Even the Fae who really, really like you in your background are scared shitless of the Samhain Queen. They want nothing to do with her wrath. She can curse entire tribes. You don't want to get on her bad side.
Why would you put your friend in that kind of a shit ass position? Like if he's really your friend.
Yeah, as a Fianna. Yeah.
If he's really your friend and he would risk his life for you, you should be like, dude, do not.
Oh no, yeah.
Do not do it.
Yeah, just by calling on your Fae friend, you're endangering their life. Because
the
the
life of
Samhain
everyone
princess
there.
may just rip their head off.
Yeah, so why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's not what friends do.
They want cool Fae buddies with cool Fae powers.
Honestly, if I were a Fae and some werewolf called in a favor like that, I'd be like, clearly the Fae are supposed to be the good folk of the Fae of legend. They can be a bit persnickety.
I would say they're a touchy bunch.
Yeah,
Very touchy bunch.
You might not want, I would love to see that happen to a character, actually. Somebody calling in a favor from a Fae buddy, right? The Fae buddy does the favor. They're instantaneously obliterated.
Oh, I would love taking a bunch of dark Fae characters all in a row, all of whom died grisly death. Oh, did you hear about him? Yes, Sam danced until he died.
No.
And the Fae, they just laughed.
Not the werewolf. Not the werewolf died. But like the
bear.
Fae buddy.
Yeah.
The Fae buddy.
Yeah,
And, like,
them
and then the queen shows up. An emissary from the queen shows up and goes, we knew they were going to do the favor. We let them do the favor just so that we could obliterate them and send the message that the next time it won't be the Fae that gets
We
obliterated.
had to make an example. Yeah.
Right, and if a stern warning goes unheeded, then you have to progress. So, like, all of a sudden, your tribal lead, he gets an emissary that says, the next time one of your guys does that, I'm going to obliterate a line of your people.
You know what's great is that they would be replaced by another Fae buddy, because that's how merits work. And then they die. And then you just keep doing it.
Well, you can't take a Fae as your Fae buddy. There's no Fae buddy merit anymore. He's dark fucker. That is dark.
The new one shows up.
I don't want to be Bob's
I don't
friend.
want to be here, man.
You just build actually a bulwark.
This is a bug hunt, man. A bug hunt.
I mean, if I were, and this is going to be the greatest sentence I've ever said in my entire life, if I were the fairy queen, What I would do is I would let the fairy do I would let the fae do the favor, and then I would obliterate them in a spectacular fashion, and then I would send a message not to that dude, but to that dude's boss,
Yeah.
and be like, the next time I'm gonna have to take sterner steps. I don't want to be in this position. You don't want me to be put in this position.
Right.
Handle that guy.
Right. So there is still a tenuous connection with the Fae. It's very tense now, and there's story there.
And as well it should be. And then if eventually we
Dramatic tension leading the story.
What?
Wow, I know.
we get-
Everything I know is
Speaking
a
of
lie.
dramatic tension, let's talk about the Get Fenris.
And I like the get. I mean, I'm making a get.
So the Get were basically on the front line at the start of the Age of Apocalypse, whooping ass and taking names, but they took heavy losses because of that.
And they lost their records,
Mhm.
which is great. So you can roll in with any type of person you want and be like, yeah.
Also, we did make a chronicle note to point out that the Farah actively do not like the Get Fenris.
They do have a history of being really intolerant.
And
even if the
murdering
rules
them.
have been
Do
changed.
the Get Offenders still hate the Fae?
I don't think there's anything in there about that.
Oh, is there anything about the default position on mages?
The book is fairly silent on mages, actually. There's none of the name breaker stuff in there that I recall.
Okay, because one of the things in Revise that always sort of ground my gears was that there's like a racial level, a genetic predisposition, like mongooses and snakes hatred of werewolves towards mages.
Yeah.
Gooses don't always win.
They don't, but they still are gonna try, and that
This is good for no fuck all reason too. It's weird.
solving plot problems with mages always led to issues where it should mobilize like every available werewolf to be like, well, they have to die.
Yeah. If you want to go full on immersion with your character and build like great costuming and great character and things like that, I really think you can't go wrong with Get Offenders. They're just a great tribe to play, like as a character.
And they've been
much
really
fun.
improved.
And they've been really improved.
A greatly improved tribe.
They have an interesting political bent now, which is kind of crazy to think of the Get Offenders as being political, but they're forced to be political because of the change in the nation.
And all of their powers are social based.
Yes.
Like all of their tribal gifts
Mhm.
are social chops.
Are
And
they?
half of
Oh,
them, yeah, and they're like all appearance and
social,
charisma.
yeah, social monsters, all of them.
Yeah, so it's a little bit interesting to see 'cause all that tagging with the like you won't run from me or
Yeah.
you'll take damage, you dishonorable F-tard. Like that's all social. Like I
Oh my god,
don't know. One of them is automatic.
the
four are social.
Fianna and the get the best jewelry and prop possibilities.
Oh, by far, yeah.
Have you ever worn it?
Easiest
I have a Twerk. Have you worn a Twerk? There's just something about them.
It's like you got a torque on.
A
You're
torque?
torquing it.
No, there's like
Like
the
Miley
big,
Cyrus?
thick necklace.
Oh,
TORC.
not twerking.
No, I know.
No, it's the one you're thinking of is more of a breastplate. There's the one that's back the other way around.
I got Lyra's work. But
It's-
I just
it's
thought it was a form of jewelry.
It is a form of jewelry, but when you
Oh.
like, it can be a
But when a
Well, I'll
dude
show-
wears it, it's armor. I see how it is.
no. It's jewelry. Crafty Kelp. Check them out. They're amazing.
Alright.
They're not even paying me. I just love them.
Fine purveyors of greaves.
All right.
Oh,
I don't
They
know.
do the jewelry for the TV show Vikings.
Then they
I've
probably
got some of
make
their shit.
greaves, I imagine.
No, they just do jewelry.
Hey, Gabe.
Pauldrons?
I hate it.
I'm giving you a point on this. What more is there to say about Silverfangs?
Other than that, shit is going to be popping.
So many more
If
houses.
we can stop from eating each other for about 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure we can settle this, but I'm not willing to bet on that.
Well,
Everybody I've seen who's playing Silverfang will be gleefully political at anybody else, and the people who seem most interested in being political at them is other Silverfangs.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking fun.
which has always been.
I mean,
the
I'll-
only thing
I'll-
slowing the Silverfangs down is generally others.
I mean, outwardly we've made clear that the tribe as a whole does support Sabine's claim to the throne. However, inside the room,
We literally, it almost came to blows over who got what color to put on their sashes. And it wasn't even about sashes until I just said that word right now. Now we're going to
Sorry,
argue
you
over
suggested
sashes.
that my escutcheon is improperly affixed.
There,
How dare you?
yes, and I love the fact that we're doing this. Every one of us is like, are we going to wear pins to signify what we're doing? Are we going to wear? Is the order of the pins that you wear supposed to have some sort of precedential meaning?
Yes.
Can it?
Also, if you're the Silverfang who hasn't Googled what the word escutcheon is,
You're wrong.
Then you're gonna lose.
There's.
You're not gonna end up king of.
I don't-
We were talking about color on metal. It is awesome.
I don't feel the need to push people to play Silver Fangs, but
Because they're
I think you're
generally
doing
the
just
most
fine.
popular tribe.
Are they?
well, you are
Perennially.
you are immortal god kings who wander the earth with a million of sub tribes.
Who are made of wind and live for centuries.
I am immortal. I have the sacred blood of kings.
Yeah, really. But you might
But
you might have bad sight.
Yeah, you might have astigmatism. Here's the thing that I think we're going to emphasize more that I like a lot is like
Game of Thrones with more fur.
Slightly more fur.
Slightly more
have you
fur. There's
did
a
you
lot of
there's
fur.
a lot of fur. Is how we're getting cosmopolitan about it. Like especially with the concept of being long lived. There are a couple of long lived ones. We have like a revolutionary era old guy who wants he's
That's cool.
completely playable.
I would like to see people working in fun bits from history that
Basically, I'm playing Vandal Savage. Like everybody's doing this.
The thing is, I want to see our Silver Fangs being pissed at each other for something 2 centuries ago.
Oh, we're
Like
already,
background things like that are
we're
amazingly good.
already working on it, and I
Yeah.
was. It's like he was supposed to be hooked up with my great aunt, and then he didn't, and we haven't forgiven him the slut. Wait,
Do you know what side he was on in the Revolution of
just
1948?
picture World War One, not even that ancient, but you as a long-lived people who are about 300 years old, if generally speaking, are going to be like, yeah, you were in your prime. This one you were a mover and shaker. Now think of any diplomacy game and how much you hate those 6 other people who were involved.
We will never play diplomacy again.
Channel that hatred.
I'm really
Some
sorry.
people might not know what that game is.
You didn't support my fleet into Sevastopol. We're never talking again.
Yeah, no.
Wait, are there people out there listening to this? I want to test that.
Okay.
Who don't know what
We
the
haven't
game
gotten there yet.
diplomacy is?
You should play it. I mean, like it could.
You can respond in chat. I'll wait. I mean, they won't, but I
But
will.
it could literally be so much as like, well, I was a Wormfoe from a storied Wormfoe family. We went to West Point, and then we marched down Victory Road and burned down your family's plantation in Georgia. And they're salty about that for some reason.
The Silver Fang players strike me as a group that are basically buying a lot of alternate skins and
Yeah, we're
a lot of unlockables for their characters.
honestly, if the rest of the game ceased to be, we could abuse ourselves.
I think you guys are keeping the VIP economy afloat, honestly.
I haven't even delved into that yet. Like, I'm literally gonna write my character and put up stuff so that you guys can link with me on Saturday. So if you want to be linked to my characters Saturday, keep an eye out.
Are you pitching your character?
Yes, you get to pitch your game. You get to pitch that mustache. I get to pitch my characters.
I don't even know. I think people just think I have like a really protruding cheek and nose. Because it just
You got
looks
that
like
Habsburg chin.
it
Yeah.
just looks like a shadow, or at worst, because it's bushiest in the middle. It's like,
Wait.
is he like
Shadow,
Hillary, or is he trying to take it back? Because
Shadow-
he's established he's Jewish.
Wait.
But so is it a chaplain thing?
Is Shadow over Innsmouth? Shadow over your mouth?
Oh, I don't. Was
I just called you a
burned?
fish man.
This explains the gills appearing
So
above my
Wendigo.
clavicle.
So the Wendigo have some interesting stuff going on. I know we don't have a lot of Wendigo players, but
How many do we have? Rough estimate. Is it over 10?
Do we
No.
have a census?
the Wendigo planning from the Wendigo planning group, which is the best number I have, I think it's less than 10.
Okay, so if you want to matter almost automatically on a national scale,
Be a Wendigo.
if you're an experienced player and you step into Wendigo, guess what? You might actually be the national tribal leader in short order.
Well, it's not even that position. You'll just be a respected voice and like end up speaking for your tribe a lot.
Well, I'm just saying, if there's only
NPCs
10
aren't
people,
going to be speaking on the lists or in other forms.
but
of
if there's
communication
only 10
throughout the game.
Wendigo being played, you have a 1 in 10 chance of becoming
That's what I'm saying.
on the tribal council. I'm just saying somebody has to get there. Now, that might not be actually true, as you could make a terrible Wendigo, but your odds are definitely higher the smaller the
Somebody
tribe.
says, I don't know diplomacy beyond reputation. If leave it alone. Never play it. Some doors
Don't
are
touch
best
it,
not
Mom
open.
and Dad. It's pure evil.
Don't stare into the abyss. Because it looks back, and then you stab
It's
your
Henry
friend.
Kissinger's
I'm
favorite
really
board
sorry.
game.
Who's Valfer? Because I like the way they roll.
So Wendigo have a lot going on. This
Yeah,
is
they
actually one of my favorite tribes. I'm a huge fan of
Oh,
Wendigo.
Who's
Played
plug-
Wendigo
who's-
for
who's
years
plugging shit
last.
now?
I'm plugging the fact that the Wendigo are great and they don't get enough props because they're an awesome tribe.
I'm not saying you're inactive.
That's why I didn't like the Bar Stantry for the tribe. That it was shitty that if you were in like the American Southeast, South, or Southwest, that your powers
Anywhere
didn't
but
work.
not Canada.
Right? That if you weren't basically Northeast, Northwest, or Great Lakes, half the year, or if not 10 months out of the year, your powers didn't work at all. And then maybe they worked sometimes, or you had to use multiple applications. But they are another, much like the Get, I would say most improved.
But another tribe that shockingly has low representation is the most important tribe in the game. Objectively, the most important tribe in the game. The swing vote, the Silent Striders.
Your moderate, your undecided voters, they slack shot. What makes a man go neutral?
Is it
We actually,
greed?
we actually explained why they went neutral because the book didn't give it to
Or
you.
were they just?
Oh, that's
born
good.
with a
What is
heart full of
the reason
neutrality?
that they went neutral? I mean, I know because we talked about
Well,
it. But tell the
they had a lot.
folks at home.
Well, they had a lot of reasons to go neutral. A lot of things that were pushing you to stay neutral. Their love of Gaia, their love of keeping things, and also their love of being relevant. But the other thing that really pushed them is, despite their long friendship with the Ahadi Alliance and Farah in general,
What could have happened?
well, the Shadow Lords stole their fucking Karen.
Did they now? Oh, that's why they don't have Ptah.
Wheel of Ptah is the most important Strider Cairn in the world. It is now currently controlled by the Margrave. So when we were building the backstory, it made sense to us that was the final. We're fucking done here with the Silent Striders joining.
So
the
all
Quartet.
the Shadow Lords have to do is give it back, and they'll get it.
But maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, that doesn't mean you didn't steal it.
Yeah, but all is forgiven, right?
And this is
The Striders. I don't want to blow your mind. The Striders are definitely known for keeping some grudges.
Well, let me just. What about the Middle Eastern temperament would make you think that they were grudgy? I will say this: that from the other side, if you're in the Sanctum of Gaia and you want the Silent Striders to vote, the cost of that might just be.
War with the Shadow Lords.
It could just be. Well, they knew that, but it could just be Ptah. I don't know how you take a Cairn out in non-canon land in the dark. There be dragon spaces, or how that would even work. But it's got potential as an epic multi-year
The
plot.
Sanctum of Gaia is too blind to see what is coming. Really?
I mean,
However,
I think everyone is seeing what everybody else is doing. Everyone is shaking their bright red baboony asses at each other.
also the important thing is, and this is another huge issue, is there is only one set of neutral Philodox left in the nation.
And that, I think, is something that shouldn't be understated about the Silent Striders. They make great arbiters.
Purportedly neutral.
Purportedly neutral, but that's
If-
more than most people could say.
If you're a Shadow Lord looking at a death sentence, how neutral are they? No one and nothing is neutral in this world.
No, but they are more neutral.
They're closer to neutral than anyone else.
If you have a conflict between the two camps in your domain,
Yep.
and you have a Silent Strider Philodox, it makes sense to go to that Philodox because he's the only person who doesn't already have skin in the game.
Why would I want a neutral Philodox when I definitely have a side in every issue?
Some people like neutral arbiters.
Some people like the appearance
The
of
fuck?
propriety.
I know.
Also, tribunals are formed. So if we're going to form a tribunal, and this is a system that has worked for thousands of years, so
And
I imagine
it's not in the game. It's just.
I just imagine that werewolves will just dial it in accidentally.
Well, no,
They'll be like, why don't we pick a guy? You pick a guy, and then they agree on a neutral.
I want you to pitch this because this is something players can definitely build up themselves in game.
The tribunal thing?
Yeah,
They're already talking about it on the Philodox Facebook groups.
Okay, good.
Good. You have thousands of years of tradition backing you, and it's still to this day one of the most efficient ways of forming arbitration panels.
Trial by combat. That's how I pay my parking tickets. That reminds me, I owe a lot of money.
The other thing about
Got my ass
the
kicked.
other thing about the Striders, and we really hammered this home last Chronicle, is that there's a lot more to being a Silent Strider than wearing a funny hat.
Pharaoh hats for everybody. And
Well,
secret Egyptian
wait.
codes.
I love this. How to get Ptah back, Silverfang? What do you mean you can't take Ptah? The Shadow Lords could do it. Yeah, but the Shadow Lords only had to take it from the Striders. We have to take it from the Shadow Lords.
It is getting salted up in here.
Jeez.
Listen, we're a social tribe. That means we can come with the sick burns. You
I will
wanna
also say,
Also, if crossing a Silent Strider and not killing them is the worst thing you can do in the game.
Oh yeah, they have some of the best powers in the game.
they do.
And the
This
best
is
fuck
true.
you powers in the game. I mean,
Yes.
something like
Fuck me.
Obedience or Pause the Newborn Cub will fuck you for a round. A Silent Strider can fuck you for months.
For an
I will say for an
Like,
entire
that's some
game
tantric
section.
shit. That is some tantric shit.
No, we are better than the Shadow Lords, but it's more difficult to take from the Shadow Lords than the Striders, as evinced by them taking the top from you guys. I mean, that's like taking candy
He
from
raises a good
This
point.
is-
I mean, you can't argue with the man.
taking candy from the Shadow Lords is like taking Patah from the Shadow Lords is like taking candy from a teenager, whereas they had to take candy from a baby. It's still doable, but it's more difficult. I can go all day.
No,
I can go all day.
I know. You get access to a far realm, deep umbral realm,
Yes.
a deep umbral realm.
That
which
nobody
is
else
nice.
can really. It takes a heroic quest for everybody else to get there. You can go there on a chop.
They combined all their side stuff into one level of one power, which is pretty great. Also, it's a level 3 power, so anybody who wants to do it can do it.
All right, Bucky, you have 5 minutes to talk about how great wraiths are in relation to Sound Striders.
Oh, God.
What are you talking
I'll be
about?
Well, we have a section on note on wraiths.
I'll be back.
We want to expand on it.
I'm going to wander your house and search for food and beer that isn't Guinness.
I'm gonna,
Guinness is good.
due to their merits and basic background,
Listen,
race.
the Guinness there was Guinness that was brewed during the Troubles, so you can't talk about it.
I did.
Race are commonplace around Sound Striders.
Oh,
These are not happy-go-lucky
Balls
ghosts
at 12.
who are willing to help Vegero out of a dog-like sense of loyalty. Wraiths are tortured souls bound to wander the earth for a number of reasons. Many of them died in states of extreme emotion, and as such, generally reflect those emotions when they interact. Most, if not all, wraiths will only expend the energy required to interact with the living when they need something, and that need should be kept at the forefront of all agreements they make. Alright, what does that mean? The best necromancy is going to be RP. This was true in the old system, even when you had a bunch of powers to just command them. But the best consistent way is going to be like, hey, what's your deal? What can I do to help and stay on your good side, not your bad side? Because unlike in Revised, you're not a master necromancer. I don't actually think there's basically any powers that really work on them. Because they're profoundly not spirits. They're just things in a deep umbral realm. That said, there's a lot of RP opportunity. They make for really sturdy NPCs, if that's something you want to explore. As far as their basic power level, their affinities are for tribes and breeds, so they can have all sorts of powers you would not expect a ghost to have.
Yeah. Which is huge.
Yeah, and they can only have, I think, one of each.
Mhm.
So they can only have basically one breed, one tribe, one depending on their stock level. You're probably not going to have any stock levels that high, but they do start with, I think it was stock 4.
3.
I remember one of the things got a really high
Maybe
stock buddy.
Maybe there's a way to get it up to 4 with the merit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying with the merit. A high stock wraith is, I mean, you have that connection for quite some time.
Mhm.
It's pretty good.
The other thing to keep in mind is a lot of Strider players I know might be thinking about joining a faction. Keep in mind that you will have to pay the merit cost for that, and tribal NPCs are not going to be very happy that you've kind of ruined the neutrality of the tribe.
Yeah, it's hard to be the Swiss when the Swiss are all leaving and joining other armies. Although, other than for the Pope, which is something they actually did. But
World War I, Germany.
World War II. I mean, like,
No, World
the
War
Swiss
I.
have never been actually neutral, but they are emblematic of neutrality to other people.
Why would you want to be Swiss? Oh, the flags.
Oh my god! Oh, that was a slow burn. That was a slow burn.
I've been working on. I can't
You
give.
can use that one.
I don't.
That's
want,
for you.
That's for me.
That's for you. Merry Christmas.
I don't want to give away my
It's fine.
tribe.
Okay, so can we
jokes
talk about the Red
marketing.
Talons? Because people are rightly upset that we're talking about Wraiths before we talk about Red Talons. But I mean, it's kind of similar because they're both ghosts and shells.
Oh,
If anybody wants to see, me and Miriam had an epic conversation just like 40 minutes ago about why
Are the
Red
Striders-
Talons-
Are the Striders really wear jackals? No, but when Bucky played them, they wear jack something else's.
whoa! Did we really
I
miss the
didn't-
Red
I didn't-
Talons?
I
We
didn't
did.
play
Yeah. How do you not remember?
Oh,
I was
no,
thinking
no,
about the Red
I
Talons.
was
No.
saying it for a while, yeah.
For like most of my life.
All right. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Go over the Red Talon stuff. Their
Can we
bitten
order a
stuff is
pizza?
hilarious. We can order a pizza, yeah.
All right, Bucky, you're paying.
I catered the last one.
Oh, you're right, Brian. You got this. That's what you do. You start off.
Never say you didn't pick up a check and then hand it to you.
Yeah, that's very nice.
All right.
No, remember you have to get me dinner because I got you dinner last time when we talked for food.
I gotta go.
The stakes have never been lower. All right, both of you. I'll talk about red talons because we've been doing it all night. I like red
Wait, wait, wait.
talons.
So are they werejackals?
No, they're not werejackals.
Okay,
No.
if silent striders join a faction, will that merit be refunded?
If the tribe as a whole joined a merit, then you
Joined a faction.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
need that merit anymore.
Yeah, you'd probably
So
get
it'll
that.
probably be refunded.
This is why you guys need to production. Yeah, thank you. I don't see you volunteering outside to get us pizza.
I kind of think it's part of our charm that I'm always hungry.
And that we're completely unedited and do all this live.
I mean, like we could. You know what? Next one ties in monocles.
Indeed.
Yes.
I'll bring my e-pipe.
Port. We will have port. I mean,
Okay.
would you like it raw and uncut?
Red talons are. I'm gonna say this because they're all lupus, and lupus are the most challenging role-playing proposition.
Yeah.
In werewolf.
Yeah.
And I would probably say white wolf, because vampires were people, mages were people, changelings were people, wraiths were people, and pretty much all of your hominids were people. But you know who wasn't people?
Playing someone's shadow.
Yeah, nobody plays wraith other than me, so it doesn't matter. Let's move on. I would love having a wraith life, but until there's a BNS wraith, it doesn't even bear discussing.
It doesn't.
Red talons weren't people; they were wolves. Now,
What that means is open to some interpretation.
well, that's what I don't know if you caught a lot of me and Miriam basically just sort of having this weird sort of bro down argument where we're like liking each other's things but completely disagreeing.
How come no one ever plays the red talon that is furious with the sudden onset of intellectual ability?
We talked about the curse of consciousness.
Yeah, like you know that whole thing where you just literally took a bite out of the apple. Now you know the difference from right and wrong, and you're like, "Fuck you guys! I didn't really want this."
I'm gonna talk deep red talon for a moment because we did ignore them. I feel bad. So you have a couple ways of being a risen or lupus, an elevated wolf, basically, right? You were a wolf. Now, how do you play that? So some of the guidances that you feel pack-like, right? You refer to yourself as the third person, which I find infinitely aggravating.
They actually get that from the fangs.
You could have been, even though you were relatively unconscious and capable of higher thought, still able to learn skills that you're going to use for chops later. So it's good to know that all of your experience of being a wolf lets you make a lean-to in a blizzard years down the line. So there's some evidence that you sort of remember what was going on. But you could also play that you basically, like, up from a coma. You went from basically unconsciousness or semi-consciousness, dreams of running around, drinking water, eating rabbits, into suddenly being a conscious and aware being. And so your life started whole cloth with your first change. And instead of carrying over the almost impossible role-playing challenge of being a wolf and trying to convey that, and not just a wolf, but being a confused wolf who is now no longer a wolf, and bringing that to the front.
And being furious about it is what I want to see.
Right, and while that's a
love to see
challenge to any tribe that has lupus in it, most red talons are lupus. They do have some metas.
And that makes the red talons even better because, all right, so say I'm a silver fang lupus, which I know somebody playing one. Silver fang lupus. All right, suddenly I'm conscious, and now I have all these people who were born and raised in a culture that I now have to suddenly assimilate, teaching me that culture with the fluency of a native. Whereas if I'm a red talon and I wake up and all of a sudden I have this higher level of conscious thought, I have to be taught about being humanoid and conscious by someone who learned it secondhand.
Right,
None of these
eternal
guys-
outsiders.
Yeah.
All of them are eternal outsiders.
Why do we shake hands? That seems stupid. It's a thing they did several times. Also, now, compared to everybody you've actually loved, everybody you've had a relationship with, and tell me that canids don't form relationships and we're fighting. Everything you've actually formed a relation with, you're now an immortal elf. You will see them all die. And now you know what death is. Yay!
Yeah, hooray! The terrible.
How would you
Yogi
not be furious with that? How do you not become, as a red talon, change and then not just go, well, Hirano it is? That is so crushing.
My argument was that none of the tribes are more intrinsically hilarious than the red talons, just to tell you my starting off point. Because they all have, there's a certain urge to be like, wait, what's going on? I'm a werewolf? Do we still pee on things? Do we sniff butts? Like, and everybody has this sort of like first red talon out of water like urge. I would say get over that urge.
It's awful.
Please, everyone's done that to death. I'd be like, what is this magical talk box? We figure in the first couple of weeks of your existence, they tell you all the language you need to know. And
You're not stupid.
yeah,
You've probably been a guru for a couple years. You've probably worked out how chairs work.
right. Now, you might be confused when people are making constant pop culture references which predate your ability to form thoughts.
Or your just existence, because they're 20 and you're 4.
Right. Even though that you're basically a full-grown 18-year-old when you change it. Anyway, so the thing is...
No, but it's just chronologically. You popped into existence at 18.
And people are like, hey, making copies. You're like, I'm 5 years old.
Well, the other thing is,
You're like a robot that was built. You're like, I don't know these things.
nobody else, no other tribe has such an assumption of being young as a red talon. Whereas there's no reason you can't be like 60, 70 years old. And if you were that age, just like with any of the other tribe, you've been that for 99% of your existence.
Right.
You're not new at this.
No, but that's another way of being horrifyingly sad. Everybody you've known when you grew up is dead. All your relatives are dead, and then down the line, they're all gone, and you're still here somehow.
Well, it leads to a different view on death, which will definitely plays into the tribal themes.
And then your totem is about the extinction, because wolves understand a wolf dies.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves fear the pack dying, and that's the greatest tragedy a wolf can ever know. The pack has died. And that tragedy is dwarfed by the possibility of tragedy that now you suddenly understand. And if you're old enough, you have actually seen. There are no more Tasmanian tigers. Mammoth is gone. And they're explaining that to you. And you're looking around at your brothers and sisters and wondering, why the fuck aren't you more upset? I'm not wrong for being angry. You're wrong for being complacent. Do you not see the horror?
Right, but the thing is, if you dial the horror too far up, then you just get into the sort of tropes of the kill all humans red talon.
It's not even kill all humans. If I were a red talon, I'd be like, I'd be more pissed at the nation than anybody else because you guys know better and you're not doing enough.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's why I recommended making a workaday red talon for Brian. I still think that's great. I almost want to do it. If you don't, I maybe should switch in my concept. No, is that the red talons can actually they actually have a stake in nature.
Yeah.
And of all the tribes, you'd think they'd probably be the most about getting some green legislation passed. Not that any werewolves actually spend any amount of time trying to effect change beyond punching things in the face, but...
Well, there's some Fiona and Glasswalker.
Listen, and not to get too political, but as the current political climate showed me, sometimes punching people in the face is the right thing to do. Moving on.
Yes, there's a lot of role-playing possibilities. If you had to rank tribes by difficulty...
Yeah, these guys are S tier difficulty.
Yeah, they're the hardest ones.
Red Talons are the hardest to play, where I think...
The easiest, I honestly think, is the Glasswalker.
Glasswalker. I was going to say Glasswalker.
Yeah, you're all homids, you're okay with technology,
most
you live
of us are nerds, and that's what they are.
Yeah. Red Talons are... I want to say almost impossible to play.
I don't know if I've ever seen...
perfect Red Talon?
Challenge accepted. I'm no longer a guy.
I don't know if I've ever seen... Like, in my mind, there's people who've played archetypes. Like, they've encapsulated what I think is a great take, and not the complete take, because that's impossible, but great takes on characters. Dawn Crown did a great tragic hero, Silverfang. Ben Pierce, who you guys will get to know better, did a great Bonar Theurge. And, like, for me, they form, like, when I think of a tribe, I think of them. But when I think Red Talon, honestly, I got kind of an empty space in my head.
Unlike other tribes that are low population, where I encourage people to check them out, I would say with Red Talon, unless you have a great concept and you're really committed to it...
Or Sherpa.
Yeah, or I wouldn't play Red Talon. Like, unless you were really...
Are you super good at this?
Yeah, be a Wendigo.
Are you?
Yeah.
They need the love. They're also depopulated and they're easier to play.
Are you super good at this? Are you willing to put in the effort?
Because
will you not be
a stereotypic cartoon character?
If you're going to be Bender, go do something else. There's a lot of
understanding the experiences of a tribe from the Middle East, or the Native American experience, or First Nation peoples, or trying to play with some of the Irish thought, even avoiding the troubles in their culture and their
expanding
sort
on
of
feminist and pro-feminist theory.
Right.
There's a lot there.
all of that is infinitely easier to approach than be a wolf.
Because all of those
Are human.
are people.
Yes.
And I hope that's not a revolutionary thought. All of those are people. Wolves, while super cool, are not in fact people.
Another thing that'd be good for is short-term characters. Like if you
It would
wanna-
be really hard.
I'm
to do.
honestly thinking of switching to. I could easily
like
switch
doing
to
a
Red
full
Talon.
four, like doing a full
Yeah.
4-year start
Normally
to
I could play
finish
that
Red
one.
Talon. That is
Would be Herculean.
That would be one of the greatest role-playing challenges I can imagine.
Done. I'm Red Talon. We're doing it.
I'm already doing it.
We're both doing
You
it.
see what you guys did? We were gonna skip them, and now
What
they
are you
both re-rolled Red Talon.
So, okay, one thing to note, and I know you want this to be talked about, is the Bitten and the Red Talon.
Yeah.
Some people take the ball and they run with it. Other people take the ball and they spike it on your kinfolk's face. And that's pretty much what the Bitten do.
What actually I like is the hypocrisy of it that's built right in.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to take your Homid kinfolk we turned into werewolves because they're disgusting Homids.
Also,
You can go
if
ahead
you
and
bite
do
our
it.
lupus kinfolk, we will fucking
We
kill you.
will murder you.
It all makes logical sense.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's just basically, fuck you, we need more werewolves. But emphasis on the you. Right? Fuck you. Not fuck us. Just fuck you. Because all of you are not as cool as
All right,
us.
wait, let me read that.
Okay.
So they're biting other people's lupus kinfolk.
No. Well, okay.
While we read the section.
Their numbers, once in steep decline, which, and again, this is one of the arguments I was having. There are a bunch of things that have magical powers. Some of their kinfolks have magic. You'd think they'd be able to look after their dogs. I just love the idea of, like, the Red Talon being like, I'm going to Mars to learn a gift. Could you look after the wolf cubs? What do I look like, a vet? And they just fly away into space. So anyway, their numbers...
The thing is, the wolves that they're talking about are in fact wild, and they won't let you look after them. They're not fucking pets.
There were literally powers to just command them all en masse.
Yeah, and that's about as cool as using your powers on other people's Homid kinfolk to get them to do what you want.
Right, because we never saw that.
We did, and then we saw duels about it.
That's fair. Look, that's fair. But their numbers, once steep decline, have rebounded faster than any other tribe due to the rapid maturity of another generation of lupus. This has led the tribe to make a unique view towards the Bitten and the Bite. Despite having no Homid kinfolk of their own, some Red Talons have gotten in the habit of biting other Homid kinfolk whenever the opportunity arises. There are those who have even made it in some kind of a recreational pastime. However, these Bitten are never allowed to join the Red Talons, no matter how much those poor souls may be drawn towards them. As for their lupus kinfolk, given the low numbers of Red Talon kinfolk still in the wild, the tribe has taken a strong prohibition on biting its own. These kinfolk packs must be protected and allowed to grow at all costs.
I can see this getting the Red Talons exterminated.
That's not the first time I've heard that sentence.
Well, yeah. I don't know how much...
You bite the wrong Gedefenris' kinfolk, and then we're going to have one less tribe to worry about.
Let's be real about this.
No, because there's only 3 of you.
If...
It's not. It's
That's
not.
also a problem.
It's not. It's gonna take but 5 fuck all minutes to exterminate your tribe effectively from.
I will say, if you are in a tribe where there's only going to be like 9 players, you're going to be wiped out pretty quick. And the last of you, if you re-roll one, is going to be like, I was away. I just flew in from Belize.
Yeah, but we can't take that chance.
Oh God. Yeah, I like it, but this is one of those bizarrely PvP things that I think would be awesome if it was implementable, but it's going to be real hard to actually do.
Well, a lot. I mean, that's a choice individual. No PC is being demanded that they do this, but NPC Red Talons are doing this sort of thing.
I would love to be a PC kinfolk bitten by a Red Talon as a
Yeah,
PC kinfolk, and then like I'm a Red Talon, they won't let me play. I'm gonna be the reason their tribe's exterminated. Let's play this game.
I imagine that person, not the person bit by a Red Talon who is incredibly just
Drawn to them.
But
I want you. You made me. I want to be with you.
Well, no. Well, how about this?
I even
If
have
there's
tribal
only
affinity.
3 of you left, I bet you'll take me in. There's good story here.
There's a lot of interesting.
I
things.
also have a personal theory that I think the Red Talons are primed to fall to the wild. Like, I have wanted that storyline.
People have been pitching the Red Talons Fallen since like the mid-90s.
Not to the worm, to the wild.
I would love to see a tribe fall to the wild. That'd be cool.
Because we already have one falling to the Weaver. You know who you are. We've had one fall to the worm.
You don't want to fall to any triadic force.
Triad's all bad.
It's not about wanting. It's not about wanting.
No,
it's
I
about
know.
must.
I'm just saying, some people are like, how do you even fall to the wild? They're the good guys. They're not good. They're uncontrollable, life-given, horrible pseudo-sentients.
Cancer.
It's not just cancer, because that's also worm.
I never agreed with that.
It's explosive vegetation. It's
Kudzu.
It's kudzu. It's vine. It's
kudzu.
It's basically, instead of tentacles, it's vines.
It's
Instead
every
of
fungal thing you've ever
right.
seen.
It's everything.
Like
fungals on
bugs.
the.
All right.
But anyway,
let's move on to the Farah. I think we spent 20 minutes there. We've made up for our slight to the Red Talons.
And we will never discuss your tribe again. Unless it's exterminate the Red Talons, they bit my kinfolk.
On the general Farah breeds page right here, I really want to underline and put in bold print this storyteller warning.
Do not.
Players who do not intend on their character undertaking the rite of acceptance should be aware that they will most certainly lead to stances of IC discrimination from the Geru currently in play. There's a good chance you'll be banned from coming into their seps, coming into their cairns, hanging out with them.
Whoa. Even the ones that take the rite of acceptance are going to face that.
Well, they may very well face discrimination, but we're talking outright like you're not going to be able to play.
You're not going to have as much fun.
Yeah.
Which was the old problem with Farah, and it's easily avoided now because you can do this right.
Yeah.
Please do the right.
No.
Because in all of Revised, most of the Farah weren't afforded the opportunity, so it was like, I want to be the only Bastards. Be like, have fun in the downtimes because I got 15 Garo players and you. Guess who's getting an ST? Not you.
And now they can join packs. That really helps too. But I
Can
definitely
you join a pack without taking the rite of acceptance?
theoretically yes,
Because Gaia doesn't.
but
There you go, baby.
that's really something up to the local Philodox. Mechanically, you can. Legally, I believe is an ecumenical matter. That is something for the courts to decide.
It's one for the sages.
As I speak, ex cathedra.
If only we had some sort of brilliant Philodox minds behind the scene asking these hard questions.
I'm to a certain degree. I think of myself as kind of a clack for these assholes. To a larger degree, I think of myself as upsetting their apple cart at every interval.
So the Ajaba.
Amazing.
We expanded how their stuff works, and we gave them the Ajaba Litany, the Chatham, which is basically from Revised.
The Channing Tatum?
Yes, the Channing Tatum. There's a lot of good stuff here. Of all the things to touch on now, the biggest thing is eating flesh in the Garo Nation. Again, this is probably a matter local Philodox are going to decide on. However, if you're eating dead humans, people may have a problem with that because it's aggressively against the Garo's Litany.
As long as you haven't taken the rite of acceptance, though, they can pound sand.
It might be a philosophical matter because, once a person's no longer alive, are they still a person?
Yes.
I don't know. Many states don't have any laws on necrophilia for exactly this. You're not assaulting anyone. You're merely interfering in the rite of Holy Sepulchre.
You can't.
Saying.
You can't forcibly take organs out of a dead body to save somebody else because they still retain bodily autonomy even after death. They're people.
Ish, and that's a very short window. I'm talking a half hour after
See
they're
that?
cold.
See that?
This is a Philodox debate, and we encourage you to have these IC and make rules.
Yeah, this is not so. Once again, there's a lot of, and I say this a lot, probably every week. There's a push for us to make a ruling on this one way or the other. We're not going to do it. That's your job.
I will spear tackle him before I let him make these rulings.
Somebody ask him to make the ruling. I need to see this.
I've
dreamt about this
Your
for years.
PCs who are affected by this need to be making these hard decisions. Hard. Now I can't even take myself seriously. But no, this is your role playing. This is your changing the game state. Don't just be like, well, the STs really need to tackle this. No, they don't. The game's already written. It's done. If you want to change, you need to do it. Now, while there is a little bit of
They do.
dissonance,
They absolutely do.
you have to cognitively accept that the NPCs aren't going to get a lot done because they are the voice of the STs. Replace them.
The other thing to keep in mind when you roll in a Jabba is that you have to be in the same VSS as the rest of your pack, family, or clan. That's because of their breed weakness. So you can't have an Ajaba pack member who's a member of a pack that meets 5 states over. The Ajaba can't do that. They need to be with their family in pack.
Cool.
Yeah. They're also, I mean, we've talked a lot about this.
We're always together.
Oh, your love is beautiful.
So into you.
Yeah.
No. Have you read their nutritional information? I am quite large as it is. And this wasn't like bees or some shit. I earned this. I know what I did. No. No one's no.
The Ajaba are a very interesting breed. They have a lot going on and a rich history in Africa. If you're interested in playing them, explore this document, explore the background.
Ajaba and the Bastet.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
They have a bit of a history in that a faction of the Bastet tried to exterminate the Ajaba.
I wonder if they get along.
So far, the Ajaba have said no. I asked.
Yeah.
I'm going to say...
We're getting T-shirts.
I will say that on Facebook, I was like, do you think the Ajaba look at the Lion King the same way I look at like all that Nazi Rothschild propaganda floating around on Facebook? And you're like, fuck that movie and fuck everybody who likes it.
The Anansi. There's a lot of stuff we had to clarify with these guys because they're a very complicated breed. They have a lot going on. Also, they're part of a hive mind. So that's always difficult to work on. The Malkavian players will know what I mean. Starting off, nobody trusts them because they sat out the Age of Apocalypse so far.
They all have some spinnerets in their face and they drink
We're going to pump the brakes about eating people. What kind of humanity eating causes worm taint?
Eating humans.
If you eat a part of a person, you get worm taint.
So the Ajaba give themselves worm taint whenever they do that?
So do the Rukea.
And so do the Korak.
Yeah.
But
by the way, their merit
hang on.
is just any dead flesh. Like, it's supposed to be anything from, like, a deer, a gazelle, whatever.
But when you really want to have a barbecue.
On the other hand, in this system, things like going to Denny's or not washing your hands will also give you worm taint. You can get worm taint from anything. So the fact that they get worm taint from eating dead bodies...
You want to talk about housing discrimination. I mean... There's going to be whole swaths of your city that just give you worm taint.
So that is not an unassailable argument about why they can't eat corpses.
I'm just looking at some of the things people are typing.
So basically, if you choose to play an Anansi, this is another very difficult group to play. No one's going to trust you. Everyone's going to be curious why you're drinking blood.
Why tell them?
Well, you are a spider person.
Well, spiders don't drink blood; they drink fluids. And why do we know? Like, how much Anansi lore do I need to know before I know that they drink blood?
Two.
Well, there's no one. If it's not one,
I would say you need the spec. Other than that, you just know they're were spiders, and then you chop. That's the good thing about the new lore system.
I don't think it's incredibly. It's not a big ask to think that the spiders drink blood.
Why?
Who? We'll catch up. Okay. Who is Valfer?
No idea.
Right.
Talent player.
What's your name?
The other thing to keep in mind, if you're playing an Anansi, is that the bite is very problematic for you because you need to feed. So you're biting humans all the time.
I thought you had to spend Gnosis into it on purpose.
You're not necessarily feeding off of all the humans. Anything that
I understand that, but a lot of times they will be.
Well, because you can literally send out. There's a certain point on their power level that they no longer hunt.
I understand that, but it is an issue for them they need to be aware of. And yes,
all right, cool.
They do have to spend a Gnosis, but sometimes it can just happen. SDs can just say it.
Fair enough.
It's uncontrollable.
There's a long enough timeline. Well, how long has the bite been a thing, Bob?
3 years.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Keep in mind, you can't play Metis.
Their internal factions are kind of worth noting because
they're fake factions.
Right.
They're not really in factions. They're just different jobs. The internal factions are secret. This is something you wouldn't know.
Can the Anansi make bit? Yes.
Yes. We got that confirmed. Yeah, we got that confirmed.
Because people were, and that was the whole argument. It's like, that's how you know they're not dying. They can't do the bit.
No, they can't. They can
absolutely fix that. So they absolutely.
Well, they didn't fix it. They just said they never said they can't.
Yeah,
so obviously they do.
They said that they do. So you're gonna have to find another pretext to discriminate against them.
Right now, the only thing that can't.
I'm not saying don't discriminate against them. I'm saying find a new pretext.
The only thing that can't is things of the worm right now, and ostensibly Weaver things because they probably have other.
That's a really good thing. Humans don't. Anansi don't have a human form. No, they look like that dude from the original Men in Black movie.
Yeah.
Well,
They have a human-ish form.
they can be hominids.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, but
They
they
do have
look
things like
wrong.
spinnerets in their mouths. Or,
So they have to whisper. If they talk normally, you can see their fangs.
yeah, I mean,
they have problems.
they do. I would also like to see that actually roleplay, but much like with Slua, I think people are going to forget themselves pretty constantly.
And also, again, storyteller warning. They're a very antagonistic breed. There's a good chance players may decide to murder you because of what some Anansi did 3 states over. Also, you drink blood.
Don't get me wrong, I
You're
like
really
them.
creeped out by the blood thing.
I'm actually not, but players are.
Oh yeah, I've
characters
seen it already.
Drinking blood.
Also,
Because they're not
No,
vampire players.
there are people who are freaking out because they're like terrified of spiders.
well, that's
Does
fair.
that get them worm taint?
What's that?
So they're ingesting people.
Yeah, of course it does.
Oh. Well, as I said, it's a good thing that at a certain point in their power progression, they no longer really need to.
The other thing about the Anansi, which I have to mention, is their queen, Queen Anasa. Great thing about her, she is the exception to the VIP rule. You don't have to buy a connection to her because she lives in your head. If you're playing an Anansi, Queen
You have a
Anasa,
connection to the queen.
she lives in your head
'Cause
she
it's
talks
hive
to you.
mind.
Yeah.
When you wake up and you're like, oh man, what am I going to do today? And you just hear in your mind, your job. It's the first thing you hear.
Wait.
All day, every day.
Wait, so she's their mother?
Yeah.
Okay, so every time
She's not grandmother spider. She's really just more mother
So
spider.
when you're there and you're in the shower in the morning, you look around, nobody's there, you want to jerk the gherkin, all of a sudden you hear your mom's voice. I raised you better than that.
Yeah.
Genuine class.
Also, dead people masturbate. Watching you masturbate. These
That's
are
what happens when you play Strider.
the true facts about ghosts. I mean, I don't.
Harsh beats. The other thing to keep in mind is, despite what you might think you know about Queen Anasa from Revised, none of that's there anymore, folks.
Yes.
She may or may not be locked in an Opal and Melpheus, or she might be somewhere else, or she might not even exist.
Turns out she was the Weaver the whole time.
Oh, as far as the taint goes, eating people is a choice.
Yes.
Well, it's just you still can't go full BST unless you make an OOC choice. The OOC choice is be like, I'm gonna eat this dude.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The choice is, I'm going to eat this dude.
You can't get it from being at the Denny's too long. You can never go full BST from environmentally caused worm taint. You have to make an actual decision, an informed decision. Like if they've been starving you and you're in BST captivity and they throw you a sandwich, you're eating the sandwich and it is people. And they're like, haha, it's people. You'd be like, all right, now I'm not eating the sandwich.
But if you take one more bite.
But if you take one more bite, you're gonna fall. Forbidden standard. This Reuben tastes really like Reuben.
All right, the best stat. We didn't change a whole lot with the stat. We did add a description for the coelacanth because the book didn't have it. The coelacanth have a kind of interesting backstory in so much as they're very connected to the fairies. And
Are
they
they Irish?
No, they're not. And they also disappeared for 24 years, and nobody knows where they went.
Perfectly trustworthy. Let them
Including the
into your
coelacanth.
past.
Including the coelacanth. The coelacanth especially don't know where they were, or at least will not admit it.
What year is this?
2017.
Oh, I heard a noise from upstairs.
What's that?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I heard a buzz noise from upstairs.
Focus. But best stat, we added their litany. It's good. All this stuff basically. Best stat. What do you think about playing a best stat character when you're making a best stat background? What's up with best stat?
Realize you could play in a Java?
They're regionally interesting. There's a lot of different types of cats. A lot of people like cats.
I've been on the internet. I don't believe you.
I think that they can make interesting PCs because they bring a lot to the game.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, they did... I don't know, but Bastet feel a very weird sort of high adventure sort of role. They're in that group of like grab one of them, get a couple auspices, get a good gift spread. They're mechanically like definitely good.
They're your multi-class.
The Opal Amaltheus being a thing in BNS for the War of Rage write-up. Yes, but the War of Rage write-up, I believe, is a custom setting, which is not the one we're running.
Okay.
Corax.
No, I'm not. We're not done with
No,
that.
we're not done with Bastet.
Okay. You're not a cat.
Whoa, what?
You're not a cat.
What do you mean?
You're not an adorable little kitty.
Well, unless you're a coelacanth.
Yeah,
then you are
then you're awful. But a lot of them are fucking not. Like tigers are not cats. All cats are the same. They're really fuck all not.
Well, mechanically.
I would say as they get larger,
We're talking about role playing.
Oh yeah.
the likelihood of them eating you becomes higher. And here's another thing. Well, people are like, well, wolves get hunted and they're viewed as a pest by humans. That's true, but it's exceedingly rare to actually be eaten by wolves. You're a lot more likely to just die from a regular dog. And those have been trained to be loyal for thousands of years. With tigers, not so much. They eat people all the time, pretty much every chance they
What
can
were the
get.
two lions when they were building the railroad that they had to get the like it would?
Oh, the ghost in the darkness.
Yeah, 120 some odd people. Like
there's a lot of types of big cat that the fact that they're not fallen is sort of a hilarious conceit because they really should be. They kill people constantly, even in their natural state. Where for wolves, it's pretty rare. Wolves are going to hunt deer because that's what wolves do. Generally, voles and rabbits.
If you're going to play a certain subspecies of Bastet, just keep a weather eye on what species that is. Like if you're playing a Balam or a Bagheera, know the difference between the two.
I would also love seeing a really nice Bastet who is like, what are the Lynx one? Aquami? It'd just be like super Canadian about everything. It'd just be like, because they are.
Canadians are nice and direct and straightforward. And Kwame are the literal opposite of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I need is a Garal, a Bagheera, and I need a Khan, and I'm playing the Jungle Book. I will be Aquila, and we can do the whole Jungle
Where's your Naga?
Was it Naga? There are no Naga.
Right, of course there are no Naga.
There never were
No,
Naga.
you're right, I'm sorry. All right.
Wanting to play a Naga was also one of those things from the old setting I'm not going to miss. Hey, can I sit in a room alone and pester you guys? No.
Correct. Corax.
Oh my god, I can't say enough about the Corax.
I feel like we talked about the Corax like a super duper lot.
And we spent a lot of time on the Corax.
Lying by omission.
But the only big note we're going to have here that we want to point out is lying by omission. Because their flaws, of course, they have to tell stories if they know them. So, no weaseling out of that by lying by omission.
Wait, so I would definitely word that sentence less ambiguously.
Corax do not to subscribe to the philosophy of lying by omission.
Right.
And it's certainly not a path by which to avoid their breed weakness.
Right, but I'm saying the first part is saying that
they
actually do believe in the philosophy of lying by omission, if that's true. That means that lying by omission is lying. You see what I'm saying?
Corax are blabbermouths. We all agree on that. They are always talking, and secrets are always enticing. No doubt there.
Why are you editing on my time?
Okay.
Not you, him.
Oh, cool.
Don't edit on my time.
Corax are great. We've talked a lot about Corax and how because they keep coming up.
Never enough. They're amazing.
Corax are great.
Corax are a lot of fun.
They don't need us to sell them.
They're vital. I don't even know what all this bullshit.
For some reason, some of their powers got improved in the errata. You're welcome.
We tuned that back because we discovered something.
What?
It only does 1 damage because they can apply their rage damage to it.
How much rage?
Okay, we've had the discussion that people will never functionally be at rage 10. It needs a buff still. I wouldn't have rolled that back.
We'll talk about it off stream.
That one power could use a buffing.
Stop editing.
I was so happy about that buff.
We are here to editorialize, not to edit.
We talked Goral, another tribe a breed we talked quite a lot about.
Love you, Tristan.
Yep, they're great. Again, I think Goral are probably one of the most well balanced of the Pharaoh breeds.
The hell is a Ouija or a Maine Coon? Is that?
Yeah, it's not. It probably is. Grab me those.
The hell's a Maine?
It's said cat. The big cat.
Oh, they're types of cats? Holy shit.
Yeah. The only problem I have with them is I have yet to be able to discern a way, except by using win or lose in one-shot powers, which the Death Bear should be able to overcome, actually beating, what's his name?
Mangy.
Mangy.
It's Mangy, the Death Bear.
Stop trying to make
him sound cool. He's a mangy teddy bear, and he has all your dead friends.
Stop trying to make Mangy a thing. It's never going to be a thing. His name is Mangy.
It's Mangy.
In any event, beating Mangy the Death Bear, who has access to basically all powers, is almost yeah. And the problem there is then it becomes ST discretion as to who the Graal actually bring back from the dead. I think they may have made the Death Bear a little too good because,
And thusly too bad.
well, right. Having that level 5 gift, you shouldn't be able to win because one of the powers they have access to says they can never be grappled. So all Mangy has to do is will activate that power. You can't win.
You only have to go first and pause them, though.
Right. It would be great if they had access to that gift.
You have a pack.
No, it's 1v1.
No, you're
isn't
supposed
it?
to 1v1 the Death Bear. Like,
No. Okay.
I know
We
you
won't
go
get
on,
into secret
I know
tech.
you go onto a journey to Mangy, and you could probably use
If
your
you
back
cheat using friend in need type situations, he's gonna kill you all.
I would subscribe to that. And I would urge any SC running a scene to be unhappy if somebody is
Just
cheating.
wipe the shit out of all of you.
The important thing is
He's not Mangy the Hug Bear.
The important thing is
sort of
encounters with Mangy should never be taken lightly.
No, they should be lethal, but I'm just saying that, like, right now they're functionally impossible. You can't beat them one-on-one. Just can't. There's too many powers.
Wait. That's your homework, viewers. Prove him wrong.
Because you're like, if you go first, he's going first because he has all the gifts that give him initiative. And also, he can just pause your pause first, then make himself immune to grappling. Like, whatever you can do, he already did because he has access to all gifts. Like,
He's all gifts at all times.
He doesn't have all gifts. He gets gift focuses in any other spirit.
his gift focus is a baller. He's better than you.
Mhm.
And no, they just have access to all level 1 and 2 gifts.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep in mind the Akuma are back. Asiatic bears.
Oh, I thought Street Fighter
No.
was the thing now.
Okuma.
Yeah.
Not Akuma.
They came back in 2009. Everyone thought they were wiped out with the War of Rage. Turned out they were just really sleepy. So they're back. They don't really have backgrounds pre 2009 except during the War of Rage, which could be awkward. Because for these guys,
Asiatic bears.
That was yesterday.
What Asiatic bears are we talking about? Like pandas?
no,
Pandas aren't really bears.
Pandas aren't Earth.
There's a subspecies of grizzly that lives on the Japanese islands. They're called hakumas.
Hence the name.
Yeah. Okay.
There's
Gorilla.
also the Himalayan blue
Gorilla
bear,
are
the
great.
sun bear of India. I'm
They
really
are
into
small bears.
guys. I'm really into bears.
They know.
Yeah.
All right, now guys, your challenge here is to be only positive as we talk about the Kitsune. Go.
No, I think honestly, I talked about the things I didn't like about them, which I think were things that needed to be addressed and were elephants in the room. That said, Kitsune can make very interesting tunes. They really can. They bring a fresh perspective. Their Deus Ex descended from on high and were like, "Go west."
Have you ever met your god?
Right? Because
He announced, he's like, shut the fuck up, Spider.
Shut up, Spider!
I'm talking-
Nobody asked you. This was my moment. Stop ruining it.
People are talking. Don't make me get the ring.
So if there's no were spiders in the room, and you ask if they've talked to their god, and also probably no death bear fighting.
Also, in this genre, you really rarely have true immortals. Kitsune are the only true immortals in the genre. That is interesting because they don't really because the whole
Well,
thing.
they're okay. We're not playing.
Not really. Well, immortals in the human world. I mean, they've existed in human civilization for thousands of years. I mean, that gives them a very unique role-playing perspective. I mean, because a lot of other werewolves are just living and dying and living and dying, and you just keep on fucking going.
I would have a unique perspective for a very old Kitsune. What? In 10 centuries, you haven't found something worth dying for?
Oh, that definitely is something that raises a lot of questions.
Or
And
they-
most Kitsune as PCs will probably die within 6 months, if not definitely within 3 to 5 years.
And then they'll
How they made it 10,000 years of unfettered cowardice.
and then they'll reply with, "In 1,000 years, I haven't found something good enough to kill me yet." And then
That's hilarious, but objectively false.
Yeah.
The powers aren't that good. They make interesting characters. They do a lot of different toolboxy things. They have a different toolbox. They have the vampire toolbox.
Mhm.
They basically have presence and dominate,
Yeah.
which are tools that
don't really exist in werewolves.
yeah, and they didn't exist. I mean,
Yeah.
persuasion and like similar type mind powers have just never been as effective or direct as sort of the vampire toolbox. And they have gotten, I mean, they changed the names and filed off the serial numbers, but they have a decent spread of presence and dominate, and they can use that to do things that just other werewolves in Farah aren't really capable of doing. Which makes playing them an interesting opportunity is what you can do in your local game, what you can do regionally, and even what you can get done nationally, because you can get up to some pretty interesting and non-offensive, shenanigans, with using that kit.
I think they're fascinating. I'm actually a big fan of the Kitsune. Like, I pretty much always have been. They're cool. They have a lot going on. They have an interesting backstory, and they have a really interesting story in this game. In so much as they have been left, thrown out, asked to leave, departed, however you want to put it.
They left, and they left on probably the worst terms you can, because the people in the beast courts also talk to their gods and their tribal totems, and they're basically like, the foxes are wrong.
Well, more
on that when the beast court doc is out.
I could see a lot of ways to, because I'm trusting on it.
Yeah, turn it
I could see a lot of ways to play Kitsune that have a lot of pathos and depth. Imagine living a life in a place for 900 years and then being told you have to leave it all behind. Now,
I don't think it's too big a role-playing stretch for some of the community that also plays Vampire.
No, but like
I think for the people who are in only one end of the Venn diagram, this is going to be a new thing.
No. Here's the thing: people who play Vampire, I can't go back to Athens, circa 900 AD. I can't go back to X. But this isn't not going back in time. This is leaving a place that still exists and the relationships that you could still have in a world that has Facebook, leaving that all behind because your God said it's time to go. So you had to weigh in the balance everything you've ever had and everything you've ever built and the commands of your deity. Now, if you're playing our game, you picked your deity, but regret exists.
Also, what's scarier to an immortal than your God coming down and telling you the world is ending? I'm not joking about this.
Right.
This is the end of the world.
However many centuries you've been alive, it's good for you, because you're probably not getting another one.
As scary as that would be to any of us, the same concept
it's not scary to me at all.
But to somebody who's a thousand,
you're telling the high elves
old,
they're dying, and there's no getting away to some far.
There's no getting out of this one.
You're going down.
What about the one that was shorted? I'm 25. I could have had 10,000 years.
Great.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
I love
that. Is a great concept.
I just got here.
Everybody was talking about old Lupus Red Talons.
Yes.
What about young Kitsune that are like, I'm going to be a one-tail no matter how this slices? I'm angry as fuck right now.
Good news, you're immortal. That's an awkward first change. Hey, good news, you're immortal.
Bad news, the end is not.
What the hell was the point of this?
That is great.
And wait, so some god I've never heard about is making me leave everything that I've ever known for the last 25 years because that's all I've ever known.
Well, and the conflict between the American-born Kitsune and the Asiatic Kitsune, I think, is very interesting, too. Those who just had their first change in the Americas in the last 7 years are in a very different boat.
Well, they'll get more in the
there
pop
were
culture.
No American Kitsune before this.
No foxes changed outside of the Beast Courts until 2009.
Hilarious concept. Not hilarious, actually horribly tragic in a way. The children of American servicemen that were turned Kitsune, born and raised, and turned Kitsune in Japan.
Couldn't leave.
Oh, that would absolutely be a thing. And that's a concept I haven't seen more of, is that because if you're a Kitsune kin around the world, you just didn't, when you came into the area controlled by the Beast Courts, you had your first change. So that's a completely valid concept.
Yeah.
And then you went back home and you've left everything you've ever known. Your God just told you that the world's ending, and you would have been immortal, but I can see a lot of angst there. There's stuff to play with there.
Oh, the new issue. I think I'm making one of these as well. I like them. Here's the thing.
What does the doc say?
The doc, again, is really just...
Why is the dancers with an S? Are they German?
That's the way they spell it.
The dances.
We didn't really add a whole lot. Again, a lot of these Pharaoh breeds, we clarified rules, but we didn't really change their setting. We didn't really change the setting because the setting as written, we're more focused on the Geru, and for the Pharaoh, more concerned about filling out the holes in their backgrounds.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of extra stuff to talk about on these. And that's why we're encountering, not as much to talk about in the Pharaoh. And we share still great.
We also, for loyal subscribers, have talked at some length
Yes.
Not the rest of you recently subscribed.
I very little-
not you Johnny come-latelys.
Actually, all of the remaining breeds, Nuisha, Ratkin, and Rokea, we've discussed at length. I don't know if I have really anything new to say about them.
Well, it depends.
Was there
What does the
anything
doc
added
say
to-
about them?
Ratkin, I'm curious about.
All right, Nuisha. We clarified that they're fine with the bitten because they're fine with everything.
They're sort of that chill person from the American Southwest who just wants you to consider maybe wearing more turquoise and
Is
being
that code
funny.
for meth?
Is that code from us?
It might be because it's funny.
Yeah.
And they diffuse things with humor.
They're great. I think Nuisha are. I don't keep saying they're great. And that's not helpful to anyone. But yeah, I mean, they like good stuff. The only other chronicle note is just about them being pranksters, and that's just a general caveat. Reminder about playing a prankster character. There's really nothing new in the Nuisha.
I like just being. I plan on being more of a straight up jokester, but
I think the Ratkin are interesting because for some reason they're on the bus with the Concordat.
which on first and
Well, you
second and
can't
every
believe-
other block is insane. But
Wait, you can't blow up the bus unless you're on it.
oh, that's. But yeah, I have strong feelings about rats because I'm weird. But that aside,
Yeah, it makes literally no sense for beings that couldn't exist without human civilization to want to remove human
they are
civilization.
very much symbiotic with.
They're
with
parasites.
Humans. They're not parasites.
What do
They
they-
protect us from the plague. It's only after rat populations have been devastated that the plague passes on. Rats will test positive right now for plague in Brooklyn and various other places. It's not until something happens to their populations where they can no longer support a healthy population, basically outpace the disease, and it jumps to humans.
Okay.
There are silent protectors. And actual native rats, the black rat and the pack rat. Black rat was adapted really quickly to live in palm trees, and the pack rat. I know nobody gives a shit. Look, read Rats. It's one of the greatest naturalist books written in our generation.
Don't.
There's a
Their
movie
tails
too.
get tied together, they become rat kings. That's all you need to know.
That is true. That is an actual thing that happened.
That's all you need to know.
They went from being true to being a myth to being true again because they were observed.
The big thing about the Ratkin is this shit gets real because they're literally tourists. So
Yes.
Preface every email you send with "This is for a game." Oh my god!
yeah, as we say here, be careful. Don't be stupid. Cover your ass.
Don't say things like "bomb" if you play near an airport. If you start looking up, and I did this as a character that I played that was really into infrastructure and exploding it once. Be very careful what you're Googling and what you're looking at because you will ping something and you will get a letter.
If the locals
You got a
are like-
letter?
Mason was into some weird shit.
Huh.
I was gonna say locally, I think we may have had some authorities convinced that some of us were gonna blow up the Kinzua Dam, which other people have threatened to actually do. Don't get on a watch list.
Too late. If you're not on a watch list by now, you're really not trying.
I will say one
That's right.
one thing years of research for writing games has taught me is that the Kinzua Dam is objectively a war crime. But that's here
It's
to there.
terrible, and that's local, and nobody knows what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
All right, Rokea, they're great.
You cannot use "great" for the rest of this conversation.
Yeah, that's your denouement.
You can't use denouement.
You're not allowed to use denouement.
You
then.
can't use denouement.
You've lost your denouement privileges.
And now I can't say "can't." We're all
Whoa.
square.
Hang on, everybody. Okay.
All right. I like the Rokea.
You shouldn't say that.
I would like.
Shouldn't.
Again, we've talked about the cool things you knew with Rokea and Rokea kinfolk in certain coastal towns.
Yeah, come on, Innsmouth this, guys. I mean, like, just being in the briny deep and going all Jacques Cousteau about it, it'd be like, for me, it was like a return to the womb in the salty deeps. Like, I also encourage all Rokea players
That's gross.
to do their best imitation of Jacques Cousteau.
All Rokea players should just use the word "moist" as often as possible.
I am feeling very dried out. I would like to return to the moisture of my peoples.
You've got me moister than an oyster.
Ocean's not the only thing wet around
All right,
here.
hitting some quick notes. Going back, the opal is a thing in BNS. It's mentioned in the War of Rage write-up. It is, but the War of Rage write-up is a custom setting we're not using. So set that aside. That's not canon for us. Coelacanth. Yes, they're giant house cats. I acknowledge
Big
that.
outfit.
I acknowledge that. They do tend to look like house cats, but they are of leopard, cougar, and wildcard stock. That is absolutely correct.
Why? How?
Absolutely correct.
Magic? I don't know.
Magic.
The wear changers I'm with. It's the leopards being the size of house cats that the
All right, you guys who have stuck through it now to the end, you've been here 2 hours.
Street sharks.
Street sharks. Maybe a little bit punchy.
It's not even a question.
No, it's just a statement of fact.
Statement of fact.
Street sharks.
Speaking personally, I'm fairly fried after a month of wrapping one chronicle and writing up a new one. So
We are always down to answer questions.
yes,
Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. This is what we're gonna do. If we're gonna play a little game because all of us are playing, and apparently Brian's playing this time too.
Oh.
If you weren't playing the thing you are going to play, having read all this, having seen everything we've seen, if you had to make a change, what would you change it to? Wait, before we answer that, you guys, first 4 questions, and they can be about the game or not about the game.
How many people were watching?
we have 8 whole people left watching.
All right, so
we will.
3.
We will.
3 questions, 'cause competition.
I was going to go
Survival
the
of the
other way. I'm like,
fittest.
we can actually take the time to answer
All right, ask us any questions you want.
everybody's question.
We can ask us any question you want,
And I'll answer any questions about the old Chronicle. I will hold nothing back. If you ask me a question about the old Chronicle before the stream ends, I will answer
Way
it.
to bury the lead. Everybody just poochied out already.
So I'm going to put that on the Facebook group. You can ask.
Brian's answering all questions.
What question? Actually, no. I'm not going to ask you a question right now.
I don't have any questions.
What? Yeah, I answer all questions. I solve all problems. What would you play if you weren't playing what you're going to play now?
I'm not playing anything.
You are going to play something.
I'm going to play a cub locally.
Yeah, if you weren't playing that, what would you play?
So
If you weren't a storyteller,
If you could
and
play anything.
if I could play anything, I'd play Strider. I love where they are right now.
I think I might honestly go from Get to Talon. So I guess that means I am playing a Talon now. I guess my B would be... Were Spider. I'd be on an Odyssey, and
They're so cool. They're
yeah,
very cool.
they're very neat. They're not like that great, but they're toolboxy and fun in a way that I enjoy. And
Hang on.
probably maybe I don't know.
I'm not making rulings here.
Oh yeah, no. This is about what
We're
happened.
having a show and a chat.
Yeah.
I may be wrong about things.
Oh yeah, we misspeak ourselves.
That's
a lot.
okay.
Well, it's because we're tired and we're lazy. What? So, what I would play if I wasn't playing.
Because you gotta speak to the mic. Or you
Yeah,
sound like
sure.
you're drowning.
I am drowning in those eyes. In those eyes. If I weren't playing I'm playing a Silver Fang and I'm playing in a Java, if I weren't playing those things, I'd play a Goral and a Fury.
Oh, this is a good question. Would the Spirit Seed Vault and the Dark Umbra have worked? To explain what this is, a lot of Sata's late game plan
Oh,
was to make an arc and then
if I, it's better to reign in hell than serve in heaven with you savages. Take over a far realm.
So the idea was that the Striders, after taking over the Dark Umbra, would hole up somewhere in the far reaches of the Dark Umbra.
Also, if you missed it, the Striders took over the Dark Umbra. Like,
What does it say?
they are in charge of the afterlife now.
What does it say that we can miss something like that?
You guys don't pay attention to who the real movers and shakers are. Hit it.
Or
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't fuck all matter.
But the important thing is that the idea was that Sata had at the end game was that, well, the world's ending again. We're going to take as many spirits as we can, and we're going to hide them in slumber in the Dark Umbra, because we figure if everything dies, the Dark Umbra is probably the last thing to go. So if reality comes back, we'll be able to reboot it.
Right. It was very much.
Sounds like cowardice.
Oh, Well,
Yeah.
Sata was in many ways
A
an
giant pain in the
inveterate coward.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Because he thought self-sacrifice was something that like Get did.
It's something that
Where like people who actually thought
No,
had to be
the first commandment
at
of a
home.
strider is to survive.
Right.
That is their first
Somebody
obligation.
needs to be in charge.
that's Graham's cowardice.
Yeah.
Okay,
he was
good.
very, he was very
no,
cowardly.
yeah.
He was extremely cowardly.
If your first commandment is live and not die for the right thing,
Well,
The right thing to do
bear
is
in
to
mind,
survive.
he also stood between every apocalyptic
Cowardice.
event and the actual heart of the Cairn, along with everybody else. So
because he had to, because otherwise he'd be killed.
no, well,
Mr. D. Magco asks, what's the benefit of stealing a seed shard? Will 2 seed shards make your cairn grow faster? If you check the book, it's clear. If you burn a seed shard, you can make your cairn bigger. You power it up. And the goal is to get your seed cairn to level 5. And then in 10 years, it becomes a cairn. So you can
Oh, the
speed
question
that
is-
up by stealing other people's cairns.
to go back, was that a yes?
Wait.
That plan probably would not have worked. The putting a
No.
No, my
a
question.
cairn in the dark
I-
umbra
I
is what I'm
I have a
saying.
question about the seed cards now.
Yeah.
Say that seed card's level 3. I
Yeah.
have level 1. I steal that one. I burn it for this one. But I can roll before.
The mechanics are listed in the book. As people are pointing out, I can occasionally be wrong when I'm talking off the cuff, so I don't want to give the exact number.
No, I
But
like
you do make the cairn bigger if you merge another seed cairn with it.
Cairn Diablerie. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Cairn Diablerie is a real thing. Honest to God, real thing.
I mean, embracing is now a thing.
So
Hang on.
murder is a thing.
Yeah.
now.
In certain endgame scenarios, Sata's plan would have worked.
It could have worked.
In most other bad endgame scenarios,
It was
everyone would
just
have
delaying the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
But given the choices,
I just want to die last. Scream the cowards.
no, they want to survive. Period.
They wanted to make sure that even if there was just a Weaver blasted hellscape, that eventually somebody could reboot reality.
Yeah.
Because no one actually thought of that. It was like, should we have a backup plan? Everybody's like, nah, let's hit it with swords.
Worked.
Ish, it worked ish.
Yeah, I've read it all like 5 times, and I'm still missing stuff, as you're obviously catching. It's a new system. It's going to take some time for all of us, but that's a good thing because it's a better system.
Where did the Kraken go? The Kraken went up and then it went down and
Yeah.
it ate.
Wait, is that High Fleet Kraken?
Oh no! Oh, I said when during the Battle of Malpheus.
Well, let's do this one first. Tell the story of the Kraken up to where you left off.
Okay. The
We are on Immortal Mage's question. Where did the Kraken go?
okay, so you know how everybody realizes that all the bad guys in White Wolf actually have conflicting goals, and that given certain circumstances wouldn't actually work together. The BSCs sort of forgot about that. So they got a huge number of specters to back them up in defending Malpheus. And they figure, well, specters sort of work for Malphians and the Unborn and all of that stuff. So they'd probably be down for laying down their lives en masse, for us. And they were like, no, we sort of want to destroy everything. We're sort of okay if everything dies. We don't know we don't care about your worm or healing it or balance or any of that other garbage.
Yeah.
Also, we're taking the Kraken and we're leaving. So they just poochied out. They opened a portal, just a nihil, and then every one of them just basically
So that was at
bamfed out.
That was at the fall of Malpheus this year. Before that, the Kraken was seen in the Maelstrom eating the remains of what's the name of the city?
Stygia.
Eating the remains of Stygia. That's because the Maelstrom is insane, and sometimes time doesn't really work the same. The Kraken was also seen wandering through the ethereal realm.
The Kraken is properly infinite, even
Yes.
in its description. It has no beginning or end.
Right.
Like, it's impossibly vast. It goes on forever. Its mouth is as ever big. It was eating an island the size of Connecticut. Because that's what you do while simultaneously apparently being in other realms.
At this point, at End of Chronicle, Kraken is somewhere in the ethereal realm, flying between planets. It's bad news if anybody ever runs into it. Next question: how screwed would I have made the nation if I actually created my perfect Midas clone army? They would have helped you for the first hour, and then they would have Special Order 66 to your ass afterwards. He wanted to create an army of perfect Metis clones using Weaver techniques. The clones would have been very helpful at first, and then they would have been overwhelmed by the one song. Because
Yeah, this is the problem with making all those like Cyberdog clone thingies.
they can't resist the one song.
Yeah.
They have no capability to resist it. So it would have worked well at first. If you could have gotten them all killed in the first hour, they would have died nobly and well. Afterwards, they would have murdered you. What happened with the Zmi? They were a huge deal for a while, and then kind of weren't.
Is that a tribal league thing?
The Zmi? That's more Silverfang. Heather can get into more detail on that. What I can say, because this is an Ask Me Anything, and I said I'd answer anything, the Zmi were central to the original meta plot of the Chronicle. The meta plot got kind of fucked up after the first year.
It shifted.
Well,
I mean,
we're doing an AMA. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
We had to do some triage work, and the problem was the Zmi plot line was kind of damaged in a way that it was hard to repair. So while the Zmi were definitely an important thing and did occasionally keep popping up and trying to free themselves, they weren't central to the meta plot after 2014 or so. So, I mean, they were important, they were doing their thing, but they weren't going to be the catalyst for the end of the world, just because that thread got really, really mixed up. Between changes, we had 3 changes of NST staff, and that plot just kind of went to pieces. So, truth be told, that was a bit of a miss. We think that the individual SME were resolved pretty well. No. We thought the individual SME were resolved pretty well, but that was a bit of a dangling plot line, I admit it.
Does anybody have any personal questions for Brian, Bucky, or myself?
This isn't Ask Me Anything.
Anything. We will answer any question about anything. Baba Yaga, Fae, Vampire, or something else.
John Wick, actually.
Baba Yaga is John Wick. It's my final answer is that Baba Yaga is John Wick.
Keanu
Did Baba
Reeves.
Yaga get used last game much?
I don't think so, because Baba Yaga is dead by Revised.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
She dies with the fall of the spiritual Iron Curtain.
No.
So, in my opinion, it's John Wick. If you really push me, it's a 4th gen Nosferatu.
Yeah. That's the realistic answer.
John Wick?
John Wick.
The
A 4th gen Nosferatu or John Wick.
Or John Wick.
Well, actually, the fourth gen Nosferatu is more realistic than John Wick. That's frightening.
Certainly less scary. Well, you know what we could open up, because we still have... Here's the thing. So
Yeah. Was Odin a vampire? No, Odin was a mage. He was a kinfolk who his avatar awoke and he became a mage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Moses.
Well, no, I mean in the current chronicle.
No, I know.
No, okay.
I'm just saying by canon, Moses
Yeah.
is also
No,
mage.
God, I hate him. I got a lot of hate.
There's definitely many plot lines we ran out of time on and had to condense because we were pushed to resolve the chronicle quickly. I think we got a lot of it. Some plot lines were seriously truncated, but I do think we did find a satisfying ending.
I'm gonna say,
Is it a good ending? It's over. That's what matters.
I'm also
Yeah,
curious as to.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna cover definitely documents and things as they come up moving forward in episodes. We're also going to continue talking about the general state of the metagame, and basically best practices when it comes to RPing from the ST point of view, from staff who aren't necessarily STs, from the player point of view,
I want to get some.
and from other people who want to support. The other thing is I do want to hear suggestions as far as what you guys...
Oh, it's over. Did we win?
I have 45 minutes to post that. The real answer is it very much depends what you define as a win.
Some people lost. I can say that right now.
Right now, while I'm slacking off on this podcast, my chief of staff, Jamie, is furiously writing the final scene.
It's so much editing, and I'm so sorry. I just sort of wharf out several pages of fiction, and then I just hand it off to be edited.
So,
And I feel bad about it, because it does require a lot of work, even at the point where I'm like, well, I guess I'm done writing. It's not done. So but thank you.
So I just want to talk about the future of this live stream for a minute.
Sure.
We're going to be looking for some special guests. We're going to be doing one at Sear.
If people want to do one at Sear,
We're doing one at Sear. I'm already there.
It'll probably be in our hotel room. So yeah, we can go in there.
No, it's our room. It's at the bar.
No,
Oh,
we're gonna
we might need real big boy mics if we do it at the bar.
We're gonna stream from
Should we do a
wherever we
panel?
can. Yeah, where I think we should just be able to talk to a bunch. Probably, let's be real.
Can that panel be at a fucking
It's
bar?
probably going to be at a conference room
Or a bar.
or a bar.
I swear my phone's
And-
listening to me because it just sent me an AA notice on my Facebook a little while ago.
It's the first step is realizing that.
Yeah, if you got
My problem is Facebook.
yes, if anybody watching this now or later is somehow still with us, we will be doing some sort of live thing at Sear. We'll figure out the details as we get closer.
Yeah, and we'll post it. I mean, we don't want to step on anybody else's time slot. Also, we want to give you guys ample time to like eat between games and things like that.
I
But
don't think anybody's going to skip meals to see us. We're
yeah,
not there yet.
we do want to
Not
do
quite
something
the
live
biggest.
and just kind of roundtable this because the more people, we can add to this and interact with, I think sort
Yeah.
of the better.
I might put up a
stuff.
poll and ask who they want us to have as a special guest at some point.
That'd be fun.
I'm
What
going to put up a poll to see what kind of topics you guys want us to cover, and I want a silly question or two. Like, and I say this nominally because some of you I don't know yet, and I'm sure I'll loathe you. Nominally, we're friends because we play together. So asking each other silly questions is something friends do.
Okay, and I just
couple
want to
more-
answer
couple
the
more
one.
questions. Well, what docs do we have left? The only final docs that we have for setting, speaking only of setting, is the Beast Court. Is the Beast Court's a Hottie document? We wanted to get that out last night. It still needs more work. We want to get you a good doc. So aside from that's the only settings doc left. There's some other structural stuff still coming out, but that's the last settings doc.
From Archer Monkey, how much will player-driven goals be able to work on a larger-than-local scale next Chronicle? I know that a lot of VSS focus, but will it be feasible to coordinate packs from different places working towards, say, random example, trying to cure the Cairn plague?
Let me answer this, and I think this might be able to start a bit of a discussion. Beer, whiskey.
What? Yeah, whiskey.
Whiskey.
What even? Sometimes it's like I don't even know you.
It's beer. I don't like whiskey.
It's whiskey.
I don't
Okay.
like whiskey.
The answer to this one
Love
is
beer.
yes, absolutely. Sure. The second part, though, and this is the part players, and I love you guys, are really bad with. When you hit a brick wall that you can't fix this thing immediately, don't stop. If these were easy problems, they would be fixed already. So
Yeah.
when you come to an ST and say, I want to do ridiculous thing, why? And the ST says, what? No, you can't do that. That's the beginning of the conversation.
I think one way of unpacking it is consider goals like that camp level goals.
Mhm.
I mean, your tribe has goals, right? And then beneath the tribe, you've got these camps who are often working towards something relatively specific.
Mhm.
And they've been working at it for a very long time. Are they achievable? Absolutely. Are they going to be easy? Absolutely not.
Who cares if
Otherwise,
they're achievable.
And you're gonna and there's a good chance you will be stonewalled by storytellers because we have to stonewall these things because otherwise any jackass could walk up to us and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get Egypt back for the Striders."
right. Does anybody want to get the email 6 months into the game that Chem got retaken? Or that the Cairn Plague's over? Because some ST just let him do it? Think about that for a minute. You'd be like super duper pissed.
Wait, just who cares if it's possible?
Well, no. But that's the other thing.
No. If you slay your dragon in this, like an actual,
Yeah.
you slay your dragon, then what? Like, chasing your white whale is something that makes Moby Dick a great book. Like, it's something you can't beat, and it'll probably kill you, but you must hunt it.
Yeah, but
That is great.
and a lot of times players will want assurances from storytellers that it will be possible at some point.
No, doesn't matter.
We can't give you those
Why
assurances.
would I want that?
And here's the other thing.
If they give you that assurance, you know it's possible. If they don't give you that assurance, then you won't try. It's like, I don't want to invest in something that's impossible. You can't know that in
Right.
real life, and that's what you're role playing. That you're going to
Exactly.
endeavor to
Yeah.
do something.
Exactly.
Some
They're
things
just
also, the reveal, even if it's not the answer you wanted or the resolution that you got, may still be worth it, even if it's not something that you can directly affect.
Hell, if you're hunting your white whale and you discover something else and you help someone else and you continue hunting your white whale, that's a story that people will tell. It's like, yeah, he knew the secret that helped us save the cairn. Oh, so he stayed there and he got his accolades? No, he was still hunting X. He was after that Zmee, and nothing else matters. For all I know, he's still in the Umbra looking for that Zmee. And like, no, like if you look at a lot of our best literature, our best books, our best works, it's about people that were not just focused but obsessed, ridiculously driven. Punisher's war on crime is a great example. There's always going to be crime. He understands that, and he's never going to stop anyway. And that's what makes him both awesome and tragic.
The other thing I'll say that's always more compelling to me as a storyteller is when I have one player coming to me with an impossible goal. I'm not going to shut it down, but I'm going to say I don't think that's really possible. If I have 40 players working together over a long term,
that could become really epic.
Yeah, breaking it into smaller pieces. Saying I want to take Chem, no. Saying I want to send a probing force into Alexandria, maybe. Break down impossible goals into workable goals.
I see. This is also a logistical question. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
I think it would be possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason to think that it would be harder.
The Antagonist Toolbox coming out.
Antagonist Toolbox has already been released to venue and regional staff. If you are venue and regional staff, specifically VSTs, not AVSTs, you will have access. So if you're an AVST, ask your VST to let you read it. If you are not any of those things, then you can't read it because it's the Antagonist Toolbox. And if you're a VST or ARST and don't have access, you need to either get on the VST list, which I can send you the link for if you ping me off thread, or you can join the Storytellers Facebook group and you can get the link there.
Okay, Archer Monkey, I get a feeling from you that you have your white whale in mind, and is it? I already know somebody else who's already thinking about this. Is it? And if I'm right, you don't even have to say it. Is it finding a way to make the bitten be able to breed? Because that's some people already have that as a set goal.
I mean,
that's a white whale to chase.
Sure, I think it's a little one-offy, but
yeah, and it's something that should be impossible. They're going into it with their eyes wide open, knowing that it's something that the staff will probably just say no to. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't chase that. That's amazing.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say to Archer Monkey is, especially when you're trying to coordinate stuff between games, you want to have a partner in the storyteller staff you work with. Don't dictate to the storytellers. Say, when can we work on this? Can you talk to our storytellers and organize it? Don't just throw it at the storyteller. Treat the storyteller as a partner.
And get a lot of people together.
What the hell is NCRE or MESCON?
Oh, those are other events.
North Central Regional Event, MESCON.
Where are they?
One's in Colorado, one is in Texas.
NCRE is in Colorado, MESCON is in Austin. I'm not going to be able to make it to either of those, unfortunately.
When are they?
MESCON is in like July.
July in Austin, Texas.
That was my reaction, yeah.
I have family in Texas, but
I've already been to a blasted hellhole.
Austin's okay.
No, Texas in July.
I do like to do two.
It's going to be indoors.
I generally try to do 2 events every year. This year, my 2 events will probably be Sear and the Northeast Campout. Failing that, we're also going to be at Kane for our Canadian friends. That'll be good. That's like a week after Sear, but it's only like an hour drive for us. So that's
I mean, for us,
it's hard to justify not going to Kane. Yeah.
If we go to Sear and we don't get a Kane, it's commutable. I mean, I'm not even staying there. Yeah. It's an hour. I've driven almost that far just to get. I drove farther than that. I went to Markham and had some. They have an excellent dim sum. And it was Chinese New Year, so happy Lunar New Year to everybody. It's the year I think it's the Golden Cock.
Right now, it's Rooster.
Yeah, cock.
Yeah, it's the Golden.
Yeah. All right, whatever.
I'm just saying, it was just up there celebrating.
All right,
Golden Cock. You mean Zapdos?
Okay, if we don't have a question in 10 seconds, we are signing off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for watching. We'll be in touch soon. Love you guys. Right. And enjoy the new Chronicle.
I actually don't care for most of you.